they're spot on.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And only on the 6th show. It's
Yeah.
only going to get better.
Yeah, oh, yeah, of course. But, when Dave called me to come on board, I did it for one reason only, just to see the safety factor of what was going to be going on.
And now you're hooked.
Yeah, now you're like my son, man.
Yeah. And now you're hooked.
Yeah, and now, of course, man. But everything that they did, that they have done, has been for the safety of the family. Or the fighter, I should say, and that's why I'm here. So
that's
anyway,
awesome.
I got some chow coming in.
Thank you, Mr. Stitch.
Of course, man.
It's always a pleasure, man.
Absolutely.
Man.
Great seeing you, bro.
Great seeing you.
Oh,
there he is.
As long as
Check him out. Check
yeah,
him out.
as long as the chin's down, you can't choke me out.
All right, man.
Take care, bro.
But yeah, guys. So, like we were saying, man, like this stuff, you don't have to manufacture, man. I know it sounds corny, it sounds cheesy, but it's all we could talk about. We don't shut up about it. But man, I don't know. I really feel like there's so much more to come. I really feel like Bare Knuckle is just on the cusp of it.
Oh, the party. What's up, brother?
Party's watching. Good old party.
Yes, sir.
Party Express. Party Tank. Man, Travis, I guess, where do you see this sport, man? Where do you see it in like 5 years, 10 years?
It's gonna be huge. It's only going to keep climbing. People are going to realize that, maybe the scientific research is true, and it really isn't that bad. Maybe we should open it up, and then all of a sudden you're going to see it all over the U.S. And then once it's all over the U.S., it already is worldwide, but it'll be legal. And that's what you want to see. You want to see everyone sanction it, everyone. Just like what they did with the MMA, the UFC, and all that stuff.
I think this will get there
A lot
before.
quicker. Yeah, I agree. Because that's the thing. People have done the research about this already, and they're not going to have the choice to say, no, you can't do it. Like, give me a reason why we can't. Like, tell me your reason. Oh, it's dangerous. There you go. There's the reason why it's not dangerous. You're saying this is dangerous, but I can eat it in the head. That's bullshit.
I feel like I'd rather get punched than like knee.
Yeah.
Knees are no good.
Right, exactly.
But he don't give a shit. Me, whatever.
I give a shit either way, so it doesn't matter.
We're gonna coin that. We're taglining that somehow.
That's a good idea.
We love it.
Patent
love
it.
it.
Oh, wait.
You have to patent it.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you have to trademark it. You got to, man.
You have to.
That's a good idea. I can sell some shirts.
You got to.
That's what I should have done. Unleash. And on the back, I don't give a shit.
Because I don't give a shit. There it is.
Man, I don't know, guys. It just, I can't say enough good stuff about it. I feel like I'm just kind of a broken record when talking about it, but just how excited I am. I'm excited for the sport. I want to see the sport grow. I want to see this company grow.
It's going to.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
I am wondering when, because it's going to happen. We're going to have a successful show. They've had a bunch of successful shows. Then you'll have this show. And the next show. Then you're going to see this guy from some major organization.
Right.
Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I want to go over there and be a superstar. I think you're going to see them pulling people.
Yeah, but what pisses me off is when that guy wants to come over and do that shit in my playground. You're coming into my playground.
Right.
So when you come to my playground, expect to get your ass kicked and get the fuck out of my playground. Because that's the way I look at this stuff. When someone from the UFC or from boxing wants to come in here and play with me first. See how you fare. You're not going to do well, and I get the fuck out. That's what I want to see.
You're protecting your.
To me, I want people that, like they had the tryouts the other day, and people are going there. You have jeans on. Why the fuck did you come? You have jeans on? Then you have other people that, they go in there to go do the tryouts, and they half-ass it. Dude, you're doing 4 rounds. Like, it's not that difficult. If you can't do 4 rounds, don't do it.
Right.
Or train a lot more,
Right.
and then come do it. Like, that's the shit that bothers me. So when people want to jump their ship and come try to join here, fine, fight me first, see how you fare. If you have the balls to do it and you think you can, try it out. And then when you get knocked the fuck out, then you'll realize maybe it wasn't for you.
There you go.
The ultimate gatekeeper.
I am the
I am
gatekeeper.
guarding this whole ship.
Guys, well, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, we just kind of wanted to BS and shoot the shit a little bit. Thank you to Sheena, Starr for stopping by. Thank you to Stitch. Thank you to Travis Thompson, the
Mr.
animal
Gary
right here.
Grant,
Gary
Julian.
Grant, he's not
Julian
back behind us
Lane.
anymore. He's kind of over there in the corner. We can hear him talking. But Julian Lane, he stopped by. Thanks to all those guys. You
Don't
guys,
forget to tune into the Facebook prelims.
Can't wait for it.
there you go. Facebook prelims. Don't forget to check it out. Also live on pay-per-view on Fight TV, Bare Knuckle, BKFC 6.
Want to say hi?
Don't
Later.
forget.
Strangest thing in the world.
Yeah, do you want to go say
What
hi?
is that?
It's you guys.
Go ahead, PK.
What do you mean?
Say hello.
Is that a Russian website?
Yeah.
No, this is
Is
actually
somebody
your
jacking
website.
it?
This
Is that
actually-
the real thing?
This is the one you
You
sent
put,
me.
you
Is that
put
the
your
real
face
deal?
on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, put your face on
Peek
it.
in,
There
say
he is.
hi.
Oh,
Your opponent stopped
hi
by
guys.
earlier.
It's Mr. Tom Shoaff right there,
Mr. Mustache.
hanging out.
It's the mustache.
20th Century Sullivan. There he
That's a
is.
good.
You like that shit?
That's a good
New
name.
nickname.
That is good. I like that.
It just came
Right off the top.
We had Bill
Yeah,
Nye-
exactly. I was just gonna say.
We had-
I'm pretty sure it's the 21st century, but I
Whatever.
got you.
We got 21st century Jack Johnson, 21st century John Foreman, all from the same team. This is good.
You see what we bring
I do
to
now.
the table?
We're valuable. I think we're
I should
valuable.
probably come.
I don't give a shit. I'm going to start
You guys
using it.
doing a live stream right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I said.
yeah. It's still
Hop
live.
on, say whatever
It's
you want.
kicking
They
in.
can't see me.
Yeah,
I'll
come
come
over
over
Go
here.
here.
ahead, get a seat.
What's going on over? See how everybody's doing.
Say hi.
Yeah, just pop on in.
Oh, hey guys. How's it going?
Tom, we'll get your thoughts too, man. Like we were just kind of weighing in, and you talked about it when we talked to you in the half face to face.
Yeah.
That we did
The face to me.
the face to you about a week ago.
These guys.
And we were touching up on the Mountain Hodge versus low ball thing and the differences, and how important the clinch is, and how important Paulie's pure boxing skill is, and all that stuff. It's a divisive opinion. It's pretty cut right down the middle. You got people saying both sides, again, the clinch and the pure boxing skills. I mean, how do you weigh on it, man? Like, what are some of the non-obvious differences? What do you think are the factors that are really going to make the difference in this fight?
Well, the first thing that comes to my head is that this fight is at 155 pounds.
Yeah.
That's extra weight in the hips for Artem, and that's potentially weight that Paulie wasn't forced to lose. So if he's used to fighting at 40 to 45 area, and that's where he's in prime and in shape, and Artem just rips the last 10 pounds, Artem's prime and in shape, and Paulie might not be. That's not to say that Paulie's not taking this seriously, but
Right.
But that would be my opinion on it. Is first and foremost is the weight. Now this isn't a 45 match like the last one was. This is at 55. So those 10 pounds are going to make a dramatic difference. The second thing that I would have to throw onto that would be the same thing that I did last time. The same thing we talked about before is you don't have to teach Paulie how to box. He knows how to box. He's got the range. He's got the angles. He's got the footwork. He's got the distance. What he doesn't know is the clinch. And like Artem said, it's like when I get a hold of him, it's over. That is a big part of the game that he doesn't understand. And to go on what you were talking about from the video earlier that I saw, if he's basic with that 1, 2, 3, just that 1, 2, 3, keep it his range, keep it his distance, he can win this fight.
Yeah.
He absolutely can. But also, like you said, is he breaks his fucking hands. He consistently
Now the
breaks
question
his
is
hands.
though, all the banter, all the lead up to this.
Mhm.
If Paulie wins in any other fashion but dramatic, like if he pulls out a decision barely, what does it do compared to the we had the spitting thing and the trash all the talking.
All it does is prove what everybody already knows, and that Paulie's a piece of shit. He's
You don't give a shit.
He's
No,
a shitty guy,
yeah.
plain and simple. Like you don't spit in
Yeah.
someone's face if you're a decent person. You don't
Right.
slap someone in the face if you're a decent
Right.
person. You don't do these things to people, whether you're fighting them or not, whether you're about to get into conflict with them or not. You don't do these things to people unless you're just a shitty person.
Right.
And in my opinion, if you spit in someone's face and you slap someone in the face and you don't go out there and do everything that you said you were going to do leading up to those moments and then following, you are exactly the representation that we think you are.
Am I
You're a shitty
the
person.
only person who was waiting for him to spit the gum in his face? It looked like it was coming.
I thought something was gonna happen.
I was waiting for them to stop making eye contact, bro. They wouldn't look away.
Right.
It was like 5 minutes. Like, all right, guys, come on.
We get it.
Yeah, like, you
Do
guys are tough.
you think Paulie's being serious with all this, or is it maybe a heel role that he's playing, maybe slightly taken too far?
I
think that is a great way to
like
put it.
that.
Absolutely. I think he bit onto the heel roll hard, and he can't get off
keep
now.
riding
He's just
it,
getting
yeah.
reeled in. You know what I'm saying? Like
Almost
I think
like
a lot
he's
of that
dug
has
his
to-
heels in so
well, a lot of
far.
that
He
has
has
to do with his crowd too.
yeah.
He has
I don't know if
people
you
with
notice
him.
this, but I mean, he'll see it. But when he was by himself, he wasn't loud.
No.
He wasn't obnoxious. He wasn't rude. He wasn't mean. It's when he had all of his boys behind him that he was running his mouth talking shit. It's like, well, you know,
See,
like,
but we can even go to today. You and your opponent.
Mhm.
That's a way, you know, you get into a little tussle, but
Absolutely.
guess what?
That's
There's-
what it's supposed to
But
be,
there's
right.
still a respect there. You aren't
absolutely.
spitting
Yeah,
and
yeah,
slapping.
nobody's- yeah.
You're doing what you do, and that's okay.
we're about to fight. Like, there's natural animosity. I'm not disputing that in any way, shape, or form. Like, you're trying to hurt me, I'm trying to hurt you. We're
Right.
not seeing eye to eye. I understand that
But
wholeheartedly.
I feel
That
like
doesn't
you
mean I
guys
respect
know
your
that
fucking
there's
face.
that unspoken line.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're not going to cross.
This is in the grand scheme of things, this is a gentleman's sport, you know?
It
Like
is.
that's how it was always started. It's like we can talk or we can settle this like gentlemen, and then we can go have
And
a drink
then,
afterwards.
and that's
you know?
exactly how it's been. I mean, even from the time we were kids, you mess around the playground, you kick someone's ass, then you help them up, and whatever. Like,
Right, yeah,
you're
you don't
my
do
best
someone
friend.
on the deck.
No,
You
you
don't
want
pull
to
someone while they're
go? You want to go
down.
hang out in my house?
Right, because we're good
You want to
now.
spend the
Right,
night?
yeah, we
Yeah,
got
we're
it out of the
good.
way.
We're
We got
good.
it out of the way. Right. Yeah, no,
That's just the way it is.
exactly. Yeah, I think you're absolutely on point with that. I think that perhaps he bit into that heel roll, and now he's just stuck. And he's
Almost like
screw it,
he
let's
has to
go.
just keep following through.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
just
he's
has
got
to
to.
keep
Yeah,
going.
well, he's already.
Because if he backs out, he
you
looks
know?
You look-
stupid.
Yeah, well, it looks bad on him. He's created this image of himself that now he has to defend, and he's going to defend it to his death, and that's fine.
Let me
Plus,
ask-
I feel like he is honestly the spitting's far. I'll say
That's
that.
way too far.
But overall, through his career, he is a master at the press conferences. Although he's never done that's something new, but he knows he knows how to work.
I'm
No,
not
he's very
disputing.
good.
He's good.
Yeah, I'm not disputing any of his abilities as a boxer, as a commentator, as an analyst, as a fighter, as somebody that you could idolize in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
The only thing that I'm upset with is the fact that you are blatantly disrespectful to somebody who, in the grand scheme of things, is no different than you. Like,
Well, I
really,
see a lot of
you know, like,
a lot
we're
of that
fighters. That's
was
what we do. We're
yeah, but
we're less than 1% of 1%.
a lot of this. The whole reason why this thing happened was because of Conor McGregor.
Yeah, well,
And
Conor's a
that's-
cunt too.
Yeah, but
Like-
that's so you take a Conor. That's what
I can see that. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of what I see happen there.
Beat up
Was
Conor's
it-
little brother, maybe his big brother would come out. I get that. I can understand that wholeheartedly.
So it was okay, Conor. You don't want to do this? Fine. I'm gonna take the show your brother, and I'm gonna make him look like a piece
people are
of shit
cycling in and
because
out talking.
he's saying shit also.
Yeah, I get it.
But like all the shit that they're talking, that's great. That's great sales. The one thing I don't like, whether it was Conor McGregor or not, that spit shit's too much.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I said in one of my interviews. That okay, yeah. If you would spit on me, I don't give a fuck how much we're getting paid. I don't care if we're making millions. If you tell me right now that Josh gets spit in my face, I'll get $1 million. Like, keep that fucking
Keep the
$1
check
million.
on the
Right, it's just not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
That's you're demeaning me.
It's
as a
degrading.
man.
Yeah.
And that ain't happening.
not gonna work.
I'll hurt somebody for that.
Let's talk about like ways to win. Let's put that on the table for everything that
Let's move on now.
let's with everything that Paulie's done, right? Because he has played that heel role. Well, you can argue whether he's been good at it or not. I think he's been good at it. Maybe a
Playing it
little
well.
too far,
We're mad
but
at him. He's playing it
he's,
well.
he's playing it well, right? So with all that, you think that anything less than a straight domination by Paulie looks bad on him?
Yes.
So if he goes in, even if he, let's just say it's a close decision, but he still wins, does it still look bad on him?
Yeah. Because of the check he wrote that his ass couldn't cash. Like, his mouth was doing all this, and he's like, I'm gonna put him in the hospital, I'm gonna knock his teeth out, I'm gonna break his jaw, I'm gonna kill him, blah blah blah. It's like, if he's still standing when that fight's over, you're full shit, bro. Yeah, you're not a man of your word at that point. So you can spit in people's face, you can run your mouth and talk shit, and you can slap people, but you can't back it up. Yes, it absolutely looks terrible. No doubt about it. It's one of the reasons why I don't talk shit. Because
I mean, you think that's pretty universal? Like, if he hasn't demolished him, you've got to at this point.
Yeah, with everything
Well,
that you've said.
here's the thing. I'm not saying the knockout, but he doesn't necessarily have to knock him out. Because me, honestly, personally, if someone pissed me off and got me mad, I don't want to knock him out. I want to make you suffer and endure as much.
Like
pain.
Dr.
But you're
Stoppard
saying
or
he needs
something?
to like dominate
That's,
him.
that's what
Yeah,
he
yeah,
has to
yeah.
do.
Yeah, yeah,
He's got,
yeah.
He better tear that fucking body apart.
Yeah.
I would not hit him in the face one single time.
Yeah.
I'd be killing his body because if I kill your body, you're gonna want to quit. And what is more demeaning than knocking someone out and they can't get up is them saying, you know what, I can't do it anymore.
It's funny, we
Forcing
were
hit
just
me.
talking about
They
the
quit
body
themselves.
shots the other day.
That's
man.
all you have to do. That's all he has to do. Because now Autumn is slow. He can't do nothing because his body hurts, and that shit hurts. This is bare knuckles. There's no padding whatsoever. So that you can tear a rib up doing that. It's not gonna feel good.
Yeah, I took about 8 seconds of body shot punishment in my last fight.
Yeah, and you didn't like any of it.
I didn't like a single bit. The round was over, and I walked over my corner. I was like, I ain't fucking doing that again. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. There's nothing more demoralizing.
Nate Shook, we see you watching. Come down here.
Yeah.
There's nothing more demoralizing than being forced to quit.
Right.
You know, it's
and
one
that's-
thing to get knocked out. Like, all right, you got
Yeah,
caught.
you
got
got
knocked
caught
out,
with a
so on and
shot.
so forth. Yeah, but if somebody beats you up so bad to where you're fully conscious and just like,
And
I
you're
can't do
like,
it.
I don't wanna do it
can't. That
anymore.
whole no mas situation.
Yeah.
Roberto Duran.
And
Was it
Sugar
Robinson?
Ray.
So that
Yeah.
comes out as more of a win than a knockout.
That's
To make somebody
I would
just
say
say-
that could make up for that.
that is
He
what
doesn't
I
have
want to
kill
do.
him,
That's
but-
like dream for me is to make someone. Yeah, I want
Just
to
beat them until they
I want to
just.
beat someone so bad that they say no. I'm not getting
Can't
up.
answer the bell.
I'm not. I won't answer the bell. Not that I can't, but fuck this. We're done. This is stupid.
I
Make
guess
them
you do
mentally
have that
say no.
option, right?
I
I guess as a fighter, if you're like, I'm not, we're done
yeah,
here.
you do.
Yeah,
You absolutely do because
Say that.
I mean,
Shit,
you're
at the
getting
beginning
paid.
of the fight when they go, are you ready? You can go,
No,
no.
fuck
Now,
it.
good.
But the thing is, you're paid to perform at a high level, right? Now, if you would know this if it happened to you, but if you just got hit with a killer fucking shot, and you know for a fact, if you go back out there, it's gonna take one or two more, and you're done. You already know this. Like that. Also, you better have some balls because there's no quit. I better get the fuck back out there. But some people are just like, dude, I can't do it because if I go out there, I'm gonna get sincere damage. So you can't. You can just
And
say,
then there's
"No,
people
no."
who are like, you're gonna have to damage me
It
to
doesn't
finish.
matter. Yeah. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
fucking
You got people
kill
like
me to
Diego
finish.
who's like, you have to kill me.
Yeah. That
I
was,
legitimately thought I was going to have to
that
kill
was a
him.
great fucking fight. That was a war.
That was a good fight.
Thank you.
It really was.
But yeah, but sometimes you run across those people who
Yeah.
it's like my intention for that fight was
Yeah.
very similar to yours. Like, dude, you embarrassed me.
Yeah.
My
So
turn.
yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
get my get back now.
Exactly.
And
And
I
that's-
did my best to do everything
Yep.
I could to embarrass him.
Yep.
And it took he wasn't that if the
He
rest
didn't want
wasn't stopped
to.
in,
Right.
He would've got back- he would've came back
He would've
out.
gone all 5 rounds.
Yep.
It wouldn't have been an
Exactly
issue for
right.
him. He had enough heart and enough determination, enough will.
You gotta
to just go
respect
after.
that.
Yeah, go out there and get it.
Gotta
Some
respect
people
And then
you
what
can't
did
take that away
what
from.
did you guys do after the fight?
We hung out. We had drinks,
That's
took
what I'm
pictures.
saying.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
I'll take
We were
argument.
kosher as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody asked him at dinner, you guys gonna have pizza after
Yeah,
this? He's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't know if that's
I
gonna
think
work.
so.
Those juice machines working?
Yeah, the
Trying to
water
stay
wasn't
up all
working
day,
this
but
morning.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I don't know, man. I really don't know what else to say about the fight that hasn't already been said yet.
Come
Well,
on.
Yeah,
yeah,
hang
come
on.
on in.
Come
It's
hang out.
Reggie.
I didn't know y'all were
Pull up a
live.
chair.
Yeah, it's
Alive,
fine.
man.
I wasn't
Anybody
trying
wants?
I'll scoot over. Pull up
Reggie
a chair.
Barnett Jr. He's about to chime in here.
Oh,
See
what's
what's
up?
up.
There he
Yeah,
is.
Why you're famous now?
Yo, did y'all see Johnny at the weigh-in today? Right, that was awesome because he talked all that shit. I didn't say anything. All I did was wear my shirt, bust my grape, and he lost it. Yo. I thought it was so funny.
You
Yo.
busted a grape?
Yeah, he said I couldn't bust the grape. I did though.
He busted it great.
Wow. All right.
Well played.
Y'all didn't see that? That's what I did.
That's
Okay.
I went like
We saw the hand go up, but we
Yeah,
have to watch
I
the look.
squeezed the grape and I just threw it on the ground and
can't
he
bust
just
the
went
grape.
berserk. Yeah.
That's
I
shit.
thought it was funny.
I
Yeah,
like
it was
it.
funny as hell. Yeah, so.
You're comfortable. You're ready.
Oh, I'm ready to go.
Reggie,
I mean,
when we did the face-to-face with you, man, he had a lot to say.
he said all that stuff. He can't finish the sandwich. So I wore a shirt, said Reggie's gonna eat my sandwich. You know, everybody thought that was hilarious. And then I, took the grape and said I couldn't bust the grape, so I busted the grape in his face.
All right.
I didn't do no, real shit talking.
No,
But
you're not
I kind of lost my
disrespectful.
cool
That's
a
no.
little bit at the press conference, because he kept repeating himself. But I mean, we're fighters. This is a gentleman's sport. We asked for this tournament
Right.
together, and then he started attacking me on my personal level. He said I was a nobody. He said he started talking about me having a 9 to 5, and my family and whatnot. Yeah, I have a day job. I work hard and I go home I take care of my daughter, and then I go to the gym and train. You know,
Yeah.
most fighters, I mean,
Yeah.
Travis works construction. No disrespect,
Yeah.
this man is a hard ass working man. He does construction.
We know your resume.
You know what I'm
for
saying?
that.
So to start,
It's
attacking
too many
me,
hours.
It's one thing like if you want to attack my skill set, you know.
Right,
you wanna
that's-
Oh, we
attack
had this
whatever,
conversation.
you know,
Like if he goes, you suck at boxing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
right.
fine, right? You know, or your hands are slow or something. That's fine, but don't attack me on a personal level.
Right,
man.
because you're
when you take it to
why
that,
for providing for your family.
yeah,
That's just bullshit.
yeah. So I felt like, but I threw it all back in his face, and he exploded. And what it really exposed him, he's a bully.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what bullies do. He's a bully, and
And
I've
when
been
you
bullied
catch
my
him-
entire life. And so, at a certain point, I felt like not only did I have to stand up for myself, but I have to stand up for other people who are bullied too. You know, we're fighters. This is a gentleman's sport. We asked for this fight collectively. We went to Dave Feldman together and asked for this tournament. And then, out of left field, you started attacking me on a personal level. I was not going to stand for being bullied in that manner. And I didn't have to bully him back. I didn't have to verbally assault
It was
him.
more of a I'll stand my ground.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, and me standing my ground lit him on fire today. He was trying to get in my face and everything. And I just looked at him and smiled.
But hey,
Do what you did.
Yeah,
in like less than 24 hours, you get a chance to figure it all out.
yeah, and I'm cool with that. I love it. I embrace it. You know, I love getting punched in the face. So if that's what it be, then
There's
that's
sort of
what it
people
be.
watching. Do you see how many people have said that?
Yeah.
Since they've sat down here, you know, it takes a
Not
special
everybody is
person.
built for this.
Right.
It's you have to be the right person.
I do
It's not a sport for everybody.
In the face. I don't
No?
care what y'all motherfuckers say.
No, because
Like, don't get me wrong.
I feed
I
off it.
appreciate
Yeah.
a good ass whipping because everybody needs it every now and again. Really set things into motion and put things into full effect. But no, if somebody just walked up and hit me in the face, I would be furious.
Oh no,
No, we're talking as a sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sport, yeah, I understand that,
Yeah,
Tom.
I
But
fucking-
sport-wise,
I
it's like, all right, you're gonna hit me in the face. Go ahead and do
Yeah,
it.
what do you do?
One,
Like,
I've had my fair share of
It's like,
aspects.
I had an
Before.
MMA fight not too long ago, and against one of the guys who was at the tryouts, and he broke my nose, like flattened it. And I took a step back and I straightened it out and I smiled and I shook at him. We kept going, you know. And everybody who watches the video and everybody who watches the fights are like, "Dude, you're out of your mind. You're crazy. How do you get your nose broken and just smile?" You don't have a choice in that point.
Yeah.
Right.
If I got my nose broken, it was like, "Oh fuck," and then ran away. Like, fight's over. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you what,
Dude,
if I was just standing there in the middle of the street and
Yeah.
somebody was just like wham and flattened my nose, I'd probably have that response. Like, nothing about getting punched in the face is enjoyable.
I don't know.
But like,
I wouldn't have
Reggie
the
was
same
saying,
response.
I'd kill
This
him.
sport's a little different, man. We chose
Their
this. you know?
response is different.
Yeah, the response is different. I'm gonna look at even if it was in the street and you ran up and hit
So
me.
here you go, real quick. With all the banter, the back and forth, you brought the grade. He's saying this. We were talking about the spitting at the press conference. Is
That is
that's
Where
like a
I'm-
step over the
where
line.
I'm from. If you spit at me, I'm shooting at you.
So it's definitely
Thank
over.
you.
It's over the line.
Thank
Then.
you.
Okay, fair
Where
enough.
I'm from, if you spit at me and I'm not physically gonna assault you, then I'm pulling out and I'm busting at you, and that's the where I'm
Right.
from. You know, so that is that's a certain line.
Absolutely.
You know,
Definitely
you do
cross
not
the line.
cross.
That's like disrespecting your family.
I mean, it's one thing like you
Same
slap,
thing.
you know, the slap, you know, the poly slap her. That's one thing, right? But
Yeah,
spitting
but
at
spit,
somebody
that's cool.
is just, I mean, it's so degradatory, you know, and it's crossing the line so far beyond.
Do you think that we were talking about it, how Paul's playing the villain role, and he, like I said, arguably, what side of the fence you on, he's good at it, and whether you agree with it, I guess, is an entirely different ball game. But for the sake of selling pay-per-views,
If
and
that's-
making money, do you think it's? I don't mean obviously, it's not acceptable in like real world,
No.
but in terms of trying to sell a pay-per-view.
I mean,
They're doing a good job.
let's look at acting here, right? If we're calling it playing, you guys.
No, go ahead.
I want to steal your seat. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
There's room. Everybody
Yeah,
can.
man.
I look at it this way, right? Even if he's playing a role, right, and he's supposed to be the villain, and when actors go out to do certain things, there are still certain lines and certain boundaries that you do not cross as an
You
actor.
still have to stay in
because
your
I
lane.
still remember as a kid, there are actors that played their role so good but didn't cross the line, that I hate them as a person today, right? Y'all ever, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when
Yeah.
Glenn Close played Cruella DeVille in 101 Dalmatians.
Like, I don't like
I can't
you.
stand her no more. She ruined it for me. I can't
played
even
it
stand
so
her.
well.
Like, she played
Yeah.
Cruella DeVille so well that I can't even watch a Glenn Close movie. But she didn't cross the
You
line.
mess with dogs, I don't like
You know what I'm
dogs.
saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, there is a line, even if you are playing a role, supposed to be a certain character, you just don't, because then it does become, you step out of playing that role
Yeah.
and you putting it on a personal level. And then what happened today, was anybody paying attention that Arlen's newborn baby was sitting
Yeah.
right there?
Yes.
And
When
did they also?
my camera crew that came with me,
Right.
they cut off the feed after all the weddings and stuff. Nobody got that on video but us. So we were in the truck on the way to dinner looking, and I noticed, I said, is that the baby right there? I said, so the role got played so hard that y'all had no regard for an innocent life. Yeah, you're
Something
crossing the
happened.
line.
And
Exactly.
not only that, but what people didn't realize, they were all in the wrong corner. They're
Yeah.
supposed to be on the other side.
Yeah, they were
weren't
supposed to be on the other
there.
side too.
And she was monitoring business, sat down, and then she heard them all chiming in and talking shit. So she stood up and just waved the Irish flag, and they started flipping shit. I'm like, I stepped up because I'm standing right next to them. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, really? Like, let them do what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, really, you're yelling in a baby's ear. That's
You
what
can play a
the
role,
was
but
doing.
you still have to have some consideration
And
for
they don't
the people
care.
and what's going on around you. So if you really don't care to that point, then you deserve to be punished. And where I'm from, like I said, certain things that you do, it's
The punishment could be great.
Yeah, the punishment is far worse than an ass whooping.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I to touch similarly on that. I've seen hundreds of pay-per-views, and I've seen all of them sell fantastically,
And nobody spit on that.
and nobody got spit on.
Yeah, and nobody spit
So
on.
you know, it's one of those things where it's like I get what you're doing, but I disagree with the process.
Right.
That's my
yeah,
opinion
spitting
of
on
the
someone's
situation.
just that's way.
I'm pretty sure that's technically rape. Like if it got anywhere like around an orifice, I'm pretty sure like transference of
So
bodily
fluids.
fluids from one body to another unwanted is considered rape. So
Okay.
No, I was gonna say that.
Joe from the Bare Knuckle Hall of Fame is joining us. What's going on, Joe?
I was gonna
Just
say that, but I left it
checking
alone.
out what you guys were doing over here, listening to what you had to say. It sounded pretty interesting. So I can really appreciate all these comments on bullying and everything else. I mean, I think it's really important.
Well, yeah, you know, like these guys are touched on, and I think we all kind of generally agree that he's playing the villain role. He's doing a great job. But with that said, you know, do you have to worry about setting that type of, like being a role model and setting an example for people? Because, you know, you market yourself as the pure boxing champion, right? Two-time world champion. And no one's disputing his credentials from that aspect, but he has a lot of followers. You know, essentially, everybody from the boxing world is rooting for this guy because they have turned this into, I think it's what's even bigger than Paulie versus Artem is the whole boxing versus MMA, right? Because that's the whole theme, really almost this whole card, right? Is boxing versus MMA. And I think it's bigger than that. I think that Paulie is representing the boxing world. He's representing the boxing fan base. He's representing the boxing media. He's representing the boxers, right? And Artem, vice versa with MMA. And I think like there's a lot riding on his shoulders that maybe even he doesn't quite understand, right? A lot of up and coming boxers, and they're watching this, and I mean, and maybe I don't have a place for an opinion on this because I'm not a combat sports athlete, but you know, if I was in that position, I'd be like, man, this is what I have to do to, you know.
I just don't understand why you're going to get an opportunity to hit somebody in the face, right? So why would you do that? I wasn't making a connection.
that's my standpoint. My stance on it is, at the end of the day, you got to fight this guy.
Yeah.
It's just like no matter what word is said, what words are said, what conflict or situation becomes convoluted and stirred up. At the end of the day, we have to fight each other.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Scott Burt, come on, sit down and join us.
How's it going, man?
Scott Burt, Police Gazette, Bare Knuckle Hall of Fame.
My right-hand man, Joe Curcio over here.
There he is. There he is. Yeah, what we're talking about.
Tom Sullivan.
That's right.
There he is.
Yeah, the first one to wear the John L. Sullivan.
And it looks
It looks amazing. Yes, it does look good.
It looks amazing.
You know, protect the lip. You know,
It does.
yeah.
Let me tell you. Get cut in this fight.
If you have a little blood in there, it's going to stick it nice and tight.
Right.
It'd be a weapon.
There you go.
But you know, Sullivan, though, actually, when he fought back then, he shaved off all of his hair and his mustache.
Really?
Yep. He's known for, and if you don't mind a little bit of history, he's known for being the #1 bare knuckle boxer of all time.
Yeah.
500
Yeah.
fights.
Yeah.
3 were bare knuckle. He despised it. He hated it because of the gouging of the eyes, the pulling of the hair, all the stuff that they could do that was not,
Spitting.
that was just not accepted.
Okay.
And people don't realize that.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that at all.
But he is considered the #1 bare knuckle fighter of all time.
It's gotta be the mustache.
Interesting factoid.
Yeah. I got a lot of that stuff. You know?
You got his house.
Yes, and I know Tom's coming up to Belfast here on our induction weekend, which is July 13th, 12th and 13th.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 12th is a Friday night, and we're going to meet and be in Apollo Creed's ring from Rocky 2.
That's awesome.
And that's kind of cool. And Billy Backus, who beat Jose Napoles in 1970 for the welterweight championship, he's going to actually narrate his. He's in his 70s now. He's going to narrate his fight on TV for us in the ring.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cool. The next day is our induction. Yeah, I can't wait for you to walk through where Sullivan walked through. We've had people come in. Baby Joe Macy, who's fought in Madison Square Garden, and says there's nothing like this. There's a picture of Sullivan standing here, and he's hitting a bag, and I can stand in the exact same spot. Take my picture quick.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Everybody always comes and they say, it's just a barn. It'll be in and out.
Right.
No one's ever stayed less than 2 hours, or less than 2 hours.
Wow.
They all the different things. We have the room of repose. It's very ornate. Sullivan rested. We have the cell where Muldoon actually chained him down when he had too much to drink and wasn't allowed in the house. In 1969, I was 9 years old, and Pat Patterson gave me a tour. He was 90. He was there when Sullivan was there. His job as a kid was to ride in the back of the cart. He was pulled through town, and Sullivan was chained to it to run, and throw pebbles at him so he would duck back and
Weight
forth.
flat too. It's not like I'm going to
It's just amazing stuff. We've had some fighters come, and I've trained them in the Muldoon Burt method, and chopped wood. I take them to the blacksmith shop where Sullivan was, and he hammered steel, all that kind of stuff. But I just can't wait for you guys to get there. But we're the history connection. I look at it as we're the icing on the cake, really.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to Travis, and what I'm really impressed with is no matter who everybody's opponents are, after the fights are over with, they're still all family, all pushing for the same thing, and that's for the sport to become the top dog.
Yeah.
Except for that main event.
Except for
Not
that
that
main
family.
event.
Yeah.
Scott, you're right. We're trying to continue to
That's right. We're all in it together.
If you have somebody who's coming in who's making an ass of himself and disrespecting people to the point where nobody is like, well, these guys aren't fucking carnival. They're over here spitting on people and almost killing babies, fighting on stage and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
We don't need that in our lives.
Right.
But I mean, chime in on that, Scott, because like we were talking about how,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be over
No,
That's all right.
no.
The microphone's good. It picked you up.
Yeah, no, it's good. No, like, but chime in on it because we're talking about how it kind of went too far and how is it more than that? Is Paulie's setting a bad example for up and coming boxers because as I was saying that he does essentially represent boxing because the whole boxing versus MMA theme was a lot of boxing fans, a lot of boxing media, a lot of boxers that are watching him. I guess the one thing that I don't want to happen, and like I said, maybe I'm in a place in it, but I don't want to see a young boxer watch this and be like, my God, is this what I have to do to get the headline of big pay-per-view?
Or maybe even start to behave that way.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm actually.
I come from a boxing background. I will never behave that way. Even if I never make it to being a main event, I will never behave that way.
Well, I'm actually a retired high school teacher. I taught for 32 years. And I always am aware of the kids are nowadays, not when we were kids, especially not when I was a kid, because I'm older than all of you. We weren't on TV all the time. We weren't on social media all the time. But now, when my students see that, they're on TV all damn day long.
Right.
And so they're actually thinking things like that are a way to act.
Right.
So I have to work very hard with my students to tell them, no, that was an act.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't an act, it was a poor example for students and the upcoming generation. But we saw a guy today, walking down the road, a young kid. His shorts halfway down to his entire butt was hanging out with the underwear and anything. That's just something that none of us ever saw on TV.
Right.
We never did that.
Right.
And it's debatable, is that a bad example or not. But some things we know are bad examples. And I'm not going to chime in much more on that as far as was that a bad example of the spitting and things like that,
Sure.
or was it just a play to try to sell more?
To sell some more tickets and
But
pay-per-views.
I tell you, if I was still teaching, and the next day I went in and my students asked me about it, we'd have the same discussion. If it was true, is it a good example or a bad example? They'd chime in on the right way. If it was just a setup, was it actually to sell more tickets, to more advertise it? Was that just a proper or an improper way of doing it? Would they have achieved the same thing with a different way? And many fighters, not just at that situation, but they go beyond it. If it's you and me, it's you and me. It's not your mom. It's not your dad. It's not. That's just between you and me, and we have to keep that between us. And as far as fighters are concerned, what I said earlier about pushing for the same thing.
Yeah.
Another little known fact: John L. Sullivan, 75 rounds with Jake Kilrain.
Yeah.
2 hours.
40-some minutes, right?
2 hours 16 minutes.
16 minutes.
75 rounds outside 104-degree weather. Right. Hated each other, but I've got a picture, and you'll see it in the barns. On his second honeymoon, and he was in his 50s, John L. Sullivan on a cruise ship. Here is his new wife. And to his left, and to her right, their best friends went on the cruise with him. Jake Kilrain and his wife.
How about that?
Yeah, and Jake actually was a pallbearer for Sullivan when he was buried. The ground was so frozen they had to use dynamite to open it up. And Kilrain was known as John would have wanted it. But the point of the story is, though, they didn't like each other. They hated each other. You'll see the writings that they actually wrote to each other when they come to the Hall of Fame. But after the fact, that was gone.
There's still a respect there.
There was a respect there. And
You go to war with somebody for 2 hours and 20 minutes. They're like we talked about it. There's a level of intimacy there that you don't get from anybody
You want
else.
to know what war I went into? I had to study to interview Scott. I had to study before the call was made. I had notes and everything.
Oh yeah, it actually history repeats itself. It really does, just in different degrees.
Let's look at it from another perspective.
Yeah.
With this whole thing with the split, and I don't want to sound like a broken record at this point. We keep talking about it, but I think it's interesting. Do the ends justify the means in terms of the back end? Selling more pay-per-views, selling more tickets.
That's
Yeah,
another.
but I don't think we'll ever know, to tell you the truth, because on the flip side of that, there's such a great lineup. There's so many people there that people are just interested in seeing because, especially if they've been following or hearing about what's been going on, right?
Yeah.
So you never know. I mean, if you have a tremendous turnout, it's not necessarily tied to anything other than the fact there's a lot of people there that a lot of people want to see. That I suspect they're going to be great. We're going to witness great fights tomorrow.
Right.
And so I think more than likely that probably is just a blip, right? I mean, it's too bad that it happened. I know we spent a lot of time talking about it, but I think on the positive side.
Again, history repeats itself, and here's a different thing, because you think it back to 130 years ago versus now with what they had for publications back then and media. Yeah. Back then, it was just not even a picture. Although Sullivan's Kilrain's fight was the only one ever photographed, the first one ever photographed. Right. We got those. You're going to love them. Yeah. But back then, the thing was, you went by the newspaper's drawings. And actually, Bare Knuckle suffered for the last couple of years because of that, as Dave was trying to get it legalized because the drawings were of two combatants, and Heenan and the other and all the others and his opponents, and their eyes were down to here. Their faces were so disfigured. They didn't end up like that. That wasn't true. That was just journalism used to sell the show for the next one. So that was their type of doing it. And the reason it suffered because all new people now, as they try to get it legalized, they did a great job of publicizing that, and they still think that's the way it was. And it wasn't.
Well, let me ask this, Scott, and this speaks kind of to what you're saying. With all that, is like, do you think that because of the way, I'm gonna get deep here for a second.
That's okay.
You think because of the way like society is, right? Because it's all about apps and cell phones and Snapchats and Facebook and Twitter, and everything is now, and everything is instant, right?
Yes.
And it's all about instant gratification, clickbait. Everything is about clickbait. It's always like controversy sells, right? Controversy creates cash, right?
That's the reason we give it.
Do you think that society has essentially forced things like this to happen? Because it's like, if you didn't do it, would as many people be tuning in, right? For better, for worse. And like I said, I'm not advocating or not, but like, do you think it's almost like it's necessary? Stuff like that's necessary in order to get some of the eyeballs on it because of just the way society is.
Well, there's a lot more distractions now, a lot more things. So people are doing right or wrong what they think will bring attention to it. Remember back when where my area is that I am knowledgeable about, back there in those late 1800s, there was only two sports, wrestling and boxing. And everyone at the time knew a wrestler could beat a boxer at any time, any given time. But that was it. Football hadn't barely started, baseball barely started. So that was the two things. They didn't have a lot of other things to pull their attention. Now you've got a million things to pull attention. So, but also back then, you could not just say, sit in your underwear in front of a computer and be a hater. And have instantly hundreds of thousands of people know it.
You had to hate in person.
You'd have to telegraph it. You would. And it didn't happen.
And it was probably too much trouble to do it. It was too much trouble to send some trolling message to somebody.
I want to kind of touch on what you were saying. I don't think it's society's issue. I don't think it's a societal issue. What I think is the general issue is most people focus on negative over positive. And I was told an excellent story not too long ago. It's basically like a math teacher writes on a board 9 times 1 through 9 times 9. And the first one, 9 times 1, he writes 8. All the rest of them, he writes the correct answers. Everybody's laughing and giggling and chuckling, and they're like, "You got the first one wrong."
But what about the other?
But what about the other 9? It's like, but that's the thing. Is everybody notices what's wrong. That's the whole point of clickbait. It's let me present this terrible situation. You're like, what terrible situation? Let's click on it.
But turn on the news. 90% of it's bad news.
But they want to
and that's why the ratings are so high.
It's bad
because
news.
It's bad news. We are drawn to that negativity. We are drawn to what's bad because we know what's. We know what to avoid.
Is that what we need? Do we need bad news?
You might need to start pumping some bad news. Well, perfect example. Excellent example. All right? Look at this fight card. Look at this fight card. Look at the fights. Look at the fighters.
It's stacked.
This is a stacked card.
Absolutely
what are we talking about right now? The fact that fucking Paulie spit on Artem.
So we got bad news.
Exactly.
We're in there. We're in there.
We're in it.
We got
We're
it.
in it.
Touche.
So,
that's a good point.
so that would be my stance on the situation.
You know why?
I think it's
Because
what
it
we're
was the
naturally
one.
drawn to.
Because it's the one thing that happened, good or bad, that stuck out outside of the norm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it
And
wasn't good.
Just blown up as far as the promotion's concerned. But yeah, no doubt about it. It's one of those things that's just like the negativity entices people. It excites people. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, this is bad. Oh, we're not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to do this. Let's go investigate.
Let's go check this out.
Oh, I shouldn't have that drink, or I shouldn't taste that cigarette, or now I want it even more. You're telling your kids not to go outside and play. What are they doing? They're outside fucking playing.
Sneaking out.
Exactly. It's the same idea. We focus on the negativity and the things that we're not supposed to have, and I think that's why this situation has been blown up. And again, I mean, like I said, look at the card. Look at all the fighters on this card. Look at the people on this card.
Another
Look at
reason
the quality of talent we have on this card. And
100%.
what we're talking about is some asshole spitting on some other asshole a month ago. You know, it's like, come on, guys.
Yep.
Well, you know,
Very good.
Another reason, Tom, you ran on money, is that people like to find that negative because they are not. You're successful. You're successful. You're successful in the ring. I'm successful with the Hall of Fame. You've got supporters, and I do too. But there's one or two that want to see you and me have a downfall.
I did notice there's always. It's funny he said that because we'll like upload stuff and they'll be like, and two fuckers always hit this like we can't figure out who they are.
Yeah. Thank God
it
he
drives us
get
up the wall.
I'm pointing in there. But see, that's what
interesting.
they found their little area. They found their one thing that's negative that they think they can blow up into negative, and then they make it negative.
In the words of Travis, we don't give a shit.
How stupid is this?
Why are we like that?
There's hundreds of thousands of people that love your mustache.
Yeah.
But there's probably a couple.
I
out
am
there-
one of them.
But there's probably a couple out there that say, "Oh, I'm gonna."
It looks stupid.
I'm gonna make fun of that.
Yeah.
Or something about
He doesn't care.
I've got a Hall of Fame, and it's as Burt Sheena says, the only one in the world where it's actually the building itself is the main attraction.
Yeah.
And people go, "Oh, he's just got a barn."
Yeah.
You know, because they find that open. Oh, it's just a barn.
It's a cool barn.
Who the hell is he? Right? And then for you guys are here doing your radio show. Oh, you've got thousands of lovers, but you've got those couple of haters like, oh, who are they to say what they're saying?
Right.
Yeah. So that is society. I don't think society's ever changed. I just think that it's easier to see that one negative person. Before they had to get on a train, they had a telegraph, they had a whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And now everybody's in the spotlight all the time. So you can be like, asshole. And, like, you can point it out. It's easier to find
So
that
much easier to find it. And you think, Tom, of the number of positives you've had. I think of the number of positives as a teacher. You get that one kid, that one negative, that one parent, that one person.
Kicks out
that
back there.
You've done what you remember. You know that's what you remember. You wish you could have corrected it.
Yeah.
But if you, that's society.
It's good stuff tomorrow.
That's
Somebody,
It's a weird thing.
It's never happened.
Us human beings. Man.
Yeah.
First,
We're
somebody's
strange
got to do
Yes,
it.
yes.
You know, when you said that about
Extra
me,
luggage
you know
to
what?
fly home
I'm
with.
super guilty.
There's no wrong with that,
You know
brother.
what? On our YouTube
Take care,
channel,
man.
We'll have 20 or 30 likes, and we'll have one dislike, and
Why
it will
is that?
drive me up the
Sure
wall.
it does.
And I'm like, what can I change? Why did they dislike it? Is it something I said?
He
Is it
tells
something
me.
funny?
Wait,
You know,
he
I'm
tells
going-
me, I'm like, I didn't fucking notice.
They may have said that.
And I'll go through a gambit of things that I think is wrong.
What he doesn't
They never
know is I'm
would've
the
said
one
it. They never
disliking
would've
it
said
to
your
drive
face.
him nuts.
Right. They wouldn't say it to your face.
Right.
They say, "Oh yeah, I'll say it to your face." You know what I do? What I found out I've done now, because I'll hear the negative. I get a couple from England, because
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I get a couple from England because of the recognition. I say, "Okay, I understand. Here's my phone number." I put in my
Give me a
personal
call.
phone number,
Yeah, let's talk.
and I've been doing that for 3 months now.
Yeah. 0 phone calls.
But
0 phone calls.
But none of them have actually followed up with another negative either, because I've given them the way of saying, "Oh, Sheena, Starr."
Oh my God,
We're live.
the facial hair over here. I love it. I love it. I love it. We got the stash. We got the beard.
Hey, she's coming to Belfast too.
She already went on a 30-minute rant before you got here.
Like my wet shirt. Yeah. Hey, at least I got a bra on under it, huh? Ooh, now it's a party.
Our number one American contender right there.
I'm glad you're proud,
I
Scott.
am very proud. Very proud.
The crowd jester. She's the promotion jester.
Can't wait to get you up to Belfast. Show you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Trying to get Christine up there for y'all, man.
Yeah. Well, she's Christine doesn't think she can make it because she's gonna be in training.
Yeah.
So, but you never
I'm
know.
trying to get up there. I talk to Christine like every day. I even sponsored her to try to get her to Belfast.
Yeah. Christine's a wonderful representation.
Yeah.
For us. Yeah.
You're talking about Champ Christine?
Yeah.
Tried to get her here this weekend.
Yeah, if somebody would have,
You'll never
talked to her about a dozen times.
You'll never find a more dedicated athlete than her.
Yeah,
Never.
bro.
Never
Like
find
that's
more
my
dedicated.
dog. I talk to her every.
You wake
fucking
up
day.
and you're like, all right, I'm just rolling out of bed. You've already ran up the side of 6 mountains.
right.
I can't even look at your shit.
I ran Francis and Guy.
Couldn't ask for a better champion.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Just outstanding.
She, you know what? She
Outstanding.
is really. She feels like she's not getting promoted enough. She's not getting enough push from the company. She really feels that way.
That's it.
And I don't think it's like that. She wanted Beck so bad, man. She wanted Beck horribly bad.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the tournament.
Yeah.
I think she's going to take it though. I think she'll
It's
take
going to
it.
be hard pressed to find someone who can beat Christie.
Yeah.
I think there's so many people to promote. I feel like what they end up doing, you have to focus on the ones that have fights.
Yes.
I mean, there's plenty of people that are not fighting tomorrow that you could
Our
promote.
boy, hey, Jason Knight. That's our boy.
Oh, we had Jason on earlier.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Hold on.
Wait, who's Vince?
Okay.
All right, how are you? Yeah, you know what? We ran into him at
Yeah, I
he
know.
was
I
at the
know.
thing.
Yeah, I know.
Which is
I
cool.
know.
Now, I talked to Jason.
You need to talk to him
Jason
after the
today
fight tomorrow,
at the weigh-in, and what was pretty cool.
Are we on camera?
What was pretty cool was I caught him before the media saw him there. And I told him, I said, the Hall of Fame has made a decision that we're going to name your fight against Artem as one of the most significant bare knuckle fights in history. Because what it's done is
100%.
it brought it back. That was the kick over the top that we needed. He's very pleased. And I told him when he's done alligator hunting, come on up to Belfast, and we've got an award for him for that. And one for Artem also. And to add on to that, for Tony Lopez and Joey Beltran, the 2018 fight, they also have a most significant fight in bare knuckle history award.
Another good argument. Both those fights, man. Like they really, you know what? Yeah, both those fights have turned corners, man. You know,
They did,
especially
not just because they're bloody or anything like that. They turned a corner. The people were wondering. They're wondering.
They were compelling fight. You know, even if you took the blood out of it, both those fights were so good. I think
Stand toe to toe and went.
I think the blood. I mean, some people would say, the fact that the blood is good, but I mean, like, take the blood off the table. There's just both such damn good fights.
Yeah.
You know, I think, we was talking with Stitch earlier, you know, we had him on and we were talking about this. A lot of people compared, I don't know if you're familiar with like UFC and stuff like that, but like a lot of people compared it to the Stephan Bonner Forrest Griffin fight, which was the big fight that at that time in UFC's history, they were going down. They were going downhill, right? And they had the Ultimate Fighter, and they had this show on network TV, and it was it. They said, if this didn't work, there might not be a UFC today, right? It could be gone. Had that fight, it was on network television, everybody saw it. Holy shit. Right? A lot of eyeballs saw the Jason Knight, Artem Lobov, same kind of similar situation in the sense that, you know, the only difference being, you know, bare knuckles is on the way up.
Yes.
Right? So instead of going on the way down, it's on the way
It
up.
was a big push up the ladder.
Right. You know,
people at the end of both those fights said, oh my God, there's something to this. There really is. There really is.
We were talking earlier, you know, I told him, and I feel cheesy for saying this, but like, I mean, I genuinely get excited. I mean, like, this, as I was telling everybody associated with this, everybody associated with the sport, with this company, from the crew to the media to, you know, like you guys, the fighters, everybody, like, you don't have to manufacture your excitement. It is absolutely genuine. It's contagious.
It is.
You know, everybody we run into.
How about everybody
here,
standing up at Jason's and Artem's fight?
Yeah. It's contagious, and like you could see, like we're talking about it, we're smiling about it.
Right? And at the end, there was
it's
the
not
debate.
fake,
Did he really lose, or did he really win? Or you know, there was my guard had it this way. Oh, I had it this way. Excitement. And then the class act of when I hopped into the ring at the end to give Artem the award. In fact, I only had one award, but I quickly caught Dave. I said, Dave, we're going to give out 2 awards, one to each of these guys. He said, yes.
I figure it's appropriate.
Yeah, for what it was, you know. But Artem took both the awards and put them over Jason's
class act.
And before, and this goes back to what we were talking about 10 minutes ago. How were they though? how were they with the press conference before that? They were at each other. They were really, you aren't going to last. You're not going to do this. But at the end, that respect brought them back together. Yeah.
Classic.
Cool. One thing your viewers might be interested in is that back when Sullivan fought in the 1800s, it was just last man standing. There was no time. Went till the knee touched the ground. There was no judges. Now, if it was under Burt's rules of engagement, which is what Mississippi uses, with timed rounds and judges and a winner declared, there may never have been glove boxing. You see, glove boxing, the promoters, the people saw it was boring sitting there for 2.5 hours outside 104 degree weather. Yeah, this is exciting, but come on, give me a winner, So the promoter said, how can we make this more exciting? Well, if we pad their hands, then they'll throw more punches. Maybe it won't last as long. And then eventually they timed them. They timed the fights. But if they had timed bare knuckle with judges, you would have never seen glove boxing. Never would have materialized. It did only for the excitement of the fans.
And with bare knuckle coming back into the mainstream, it's almost like it's full circle.
Yes,
right?
and here now we actually have social media and TV to thank, because if there wasn't social media or TV, they would still have done it the same way. Last man standing. Just go out, and you'd have seen why it failed to catch on as much.
Yeah.
But now because of that, and you have to have time rounds and commercials and all that stuff. I mean, it forced the time rounds. And isn't that a weird way of thinking about it? But it's true.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to mention, as far as, and you guys have beat this to pieces, and finally we've got the world to agree with us, as far as safety is concerned. I've talked to hundreds of fighters in their 70s and 80s. The only ones I unfortunately have talked to who have trouble speaking, trouble putting thoughts together, as when they were younger, were gloved fighters. I've never ever, and I've met hundreds of underground fighters who've had a lot of fights, and they have never had a problem mentally or physically, and that just proves what the doctors have backed up.
But there's less concussive damage. And
because
it's more superficial in terms of cuts.
Yep.
But other than that, there's no internal.
You got to be careful how you hit me, because you can break your hand.
Right.
Pat them up, just wail the hell out of me.
Right.
And now my head's going to go like this. And I even talked to the current referees.
Right.
And they said, and gloved, we've got to wonder. Are they had enough or not? I think so. Well, let's wait a little bit more. All those more hits, right? In bare knuckle, there you're not waiting for that. You know much more faster.
Well, let me ask you this, because you being the
historian,
historian, do you think that with it being sanctioned in Florida now, it opens up a whole another world of opportunity for your Vegas, you're in New York, you're I don't know, maybe Pennsylvania, some of your other more known combat sports states?
Well, the number one combat sport state was Mississippi back in the day. That's where Sullivan won both of his fights. Both illegal. In fact, it's a misnomer when some say, "Oh, this is the first legal fight since." There's never been a legal bare knuckle fight. Never until Wyoming last year. But as far as Florida, I don't see the difference there with Florida. It's a bigger state, of course, but I'm just seeing all states going to fall into line. You so well covered what Florida is requiring to support. It only, in reality, is not much more than taking paint and spraying red.
It's just more or less a wrist guard.
Yeah, and I did not even have to change our rules. Our rules are 27 pages. I did not have to change our rules for Florida to fall into
right into it.
Fit right in.
Yeah.
Fit right in.
Yeah.
So there was Broughton's rules in the 1700s. And then there was London Prize rules and bare knuckle, Marquis rules, and now it's Burt's rules of engagement that's been accepted in Mississippi. So I'm very proud of that. People don't really realize that, but it's a very for a little guy with a barn from Belfast, to be involved in that and help those rules. So I'm excited about that. And I do this for absolutely no other reason, Josh, than for the fighters.
Yeah.
You've seen the medals that we do. We hand make those medals.
Yeah.
We make everyone special and different so that they can collect them. It's
Yeah,
Florida State on it. All my own expense.
Yeah.
But this time we've got a sponsored ringside beer, and we're so pleased about that. And actually, Representative Van Heiser-Bush will be watching.
Awesome.
So that's going to escalate. But just for the boxers, and the boxers appreciate that, and you can see it when we walk around here and they see me, because someone is actually cares about them, cares an awful lot. Oh man, Jason Knight walks in. Look at this. Oh wow, yeah. You want to get him on? He might make it over here. I told Jason earlier today. He got Nick. I told him that he got the Hall of Fame has named his fight with Artem as one of the most significant fights in bare knuckle history. Yeah, and we've got. Yes, he gets a nice award. It's of John L. Sullivan training in the barns, and then he'll have his name mounted on a bronze goat. This big for greatest of all time. Yeah. So next time he's up in Belfast, we'd love to honor him. Yeah.
100%.
All the cool stuff that's going on. You can whenever you want.
Yeah, come on over.
It's streaming live.
It's on over, man. But like we were saying, man. I think Vegas is close.
Yeah.
I think we're only, I'm thinking next year maybe. You think we kind of invade Vegas?
Well, their eyes are watching tomorrow.
Of course they are.
Yeah, sure they are.
Of course they are.
And
We had this conversation. The UFC's gonna be like, we don't want that shit in your town.
And they'll see the number of pay-per-views.
Well,
they'll see the media.
You know what? But can the UFC really? Because here's the thing, though. Because Vegas, right? Don't like some of these commissions. Don't they get? My memory. I know in Virginia, like Virginia Commission, they get a small piece of the pie, like from the gate.
Yeah,
they get a small percentage.
Here are the benefits of sitting in the lobby.
Is it like
streaming
in here, like in Florida? And
I don't know. I don't know that answer. I don't know that answer. See, Florida, how we work it is that Florida sanctions the fight, and then for our belt, we sanction on top of it. So one of these days, Jason will be fighting for a belt, one of those pieces of belts, oldest one in history, right? You're taking that home with you, I know. Oh yeah. But see, wherever the state is, pick the state, Mississippi, whatever. We sanction that fight on top of it because we're the oldest sanctioning body in the United States, and in fact in the world. 1881 we started. There's only 2 people in charge of our sanctioning body: Richard K. Fox, and then me. Yeah, so we're gonna be strapping him up one of these days. But I'll pass it on to these guys. You got the viewers want to hear about from these 2 guys.
Jason Knight, everybody. Jason, we were just talking, man. We're just trying to talk about like how big bare knuckle has got. It's only the 6th show coming up, and we were talking. You and Artem was such a big part of that of the explosion because a lot of people compare it to the Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner fight. That really putting bare knuckle on the map. We think it's really only a matter of time. With it finally getting accepted in Florida. Is Vegas the next step? Is MSG, Madison Square Garden, is that the next step?
I mean, the only logical thing for bare knuckle to do is you sit too far up under here and like you see every time you turn around it's bare knuckle this, bare knuckle that. I mean, more and more people's talking about it, more and more people are getting excited.
Yeah.
And more and more fighters are joining the team.
Yeah.
Once people realize that fucking David government is paying money, they're serious, then more and more people are gonna follow the bare knuckle. And I've heard a lot of people say, this is the last stop for MMA fighters. Well, guess what? I can go back to MMA anytime. I'm 26.
Anytime, yeah.
If I get ready to go fight,
Bellator is calling right now. Bellator is calling right
I
now.
can go fight MMA if I want to. But guess what? I don't got to do the ground game. I don't got to worry about some wrestler taking me down, laying on me. I get to throw these hands. You know what I'm saying? I got into this shit for fun. I got into it just to punch people and have them punch me. and that's what I get to do.
It's interesting people say that because I hear people, that same thing about, that's where MMA fighters going to die. But, I don't really get that because you have MMA fighters who have been successful and crossed over and, not been successful in bare knuckle. You've had guys that weren't successful in MMA be successful. Boxers. You've had boxers that were successful in boxing, but not successful in bare. It's an entirely different sport. You can't treat it. A lot of people treat it as if, like we were saying, it's just, glove boxing without gloves, and it's insane to me the level of the intelligence of some of these people. Not to knock everybody, but a lot of people don't understand. They still don't understand bare knuckle boxing and what it entails.
Exactly, man. I mean, it's just like the UFC was in the beginning. You got a bunch of dumb, uneducated fuckers who hate something because they don't know what it is.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
You see my face get cut up. You seen Arnold's face get cut up. Yeah. Well, guess what? A week and a half later, I was healed. I had no aches and pains. My elbow didn't hurt. My knee didn't hurt. My hip didn't hurt. My rib cage didn't hurt because all this scrapping and stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love jiu-jitsu. I'm a brown belt. I will have my black belt before I die. But a training camp with bare knuckle was so much easier on my body, so much better for me than a training camp for an MMA fight. I'm telling you, every MMA fight, for an 8-week training camp, I guarantee 6 out of 8 weeks, something on my fucking body's hurting. For a bare knuckle fight, nothing ever got hurt except for my face, and then a week later I was fine. It was all superficial. I went to the doctor just to make sure I was cut up. I thought maybe, most likely I got a concussion. I'm sure I do. I go there, no concussion. My hand was this big. I thought for sure hand's got to be broke. No broken bones. That bad boy's still good. This is still good. Ready to go in August,
Well, you talk about that. How long ago? Because according to a lot of us in the media, we had no clue about that fight. I didn't know until today. How long has this been in the making?
It's been in the works for a couple weeks. My coach, I've always told him, whatever your decision is, that's my decision. So if you want it, I'll take it.
Best. Yeah,
And I mean, I know that they was in the talks about Leonard Garcia. I was wanting the Leonard Garcia fight.
Yeah.
I come up here, I've been telling my coach, give me the fight. And he's telling me maybe, possibly, we'll see, blah, blah, blah. I come up here like, Jason, come here, man, I got a big surprise for you. Come here, check this out.
Yeah.
I go out and they got my name up on the canvas, Jason Knight versus Leonard Garcia. I was like, fucking right, baby, we got the fight. Yeah.
So was that your first time knowing that it was finalized?
That's how I know.
Seeing your name on the canvas?
Yeah, that's how I know.
That's nuts.
They did a pretty good job keeping that under wraps. He didn't even know he was fighting.
Yeah, he didn't even know he was fighting.
The nice thing is we all found out at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
What weight are you guys going at? 55, 45?
47? My
47?
plan was 46. Every 45, I get my pound allowance.
Right.
That's my weight class.
Because I know that he fought Julian at 65, but he was heavy.
Yeah, I was about to say, look at him.
You fought at 45 against Artem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. I'm curious to see where you guys meet up with that.
I'll fight at 170 if we need to. I'm fighting the same guy either way. I don't weigh with 155, but Leonard Garcia can still get his hands.
Is 140? Is that your preferred weight class? 145.
145, man. I walk around like 152. I gotta cut a whole lot of weight and fucking go in there and have fun.
He's eating too on his
bro. I was
7 pounds.
He's breakfast, had a Cuban sandwich. I was good to go, man.
I did a combat jiu-jitsu match the other day at 155. I weighed in at 152, fucking with blue jeans eating a hamburger.
Hell yeah. That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it. Cut weight's bullshit.
Well, you know what? We haven't really heard your thoughts on it yet, man. But why don't you chime in? I mean, real quickly, because you have the experience with low ball. Him and Paulie.
All right. I think Paulie's got 2 different ways he can win the fight. One, Paulie's gonna stay on the outside, play it safe, and every time Artem throws something, he's gonna make him miss, make him pay, pick him apart. 2, Artem stays right. Paulie stays right there on the outside. Every time Artem comes in, Paulie tags him up, and then Artem, he kind of gets scared of going in. And it turns into a boring ass fight because Paulie's trying to play it safe, Artem's trying to play it safe, and it's boring as hell. or Artem's going to go in here. They're probably going to be trying to play it safe. Artem's going to find a way to get his hands on him. He's going to find a way to stay connected. He's going to find a way to shut that footwork down, shut that head movement down. I'm thinking clinch, uppercuts, hooks, something like that. Paulie has never been inside of a clinch and actually had to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? He might get in the clinch, but then that's your safe place. This ain't a safe place here. You get in here, I'm throwing uppercuts and hooks to your brain and trying to knock you out. And I believe Paulie's going to learn. I believe Artem learned from our last fight. You know what I'm saying? That clinch ain't no joke, but I think he's going to definitely be looking to use it. But, don't really have no predictions, but hopefully Artem goes there and knocks his fool out and fucking makes the MMA guys look good.
The whole MMA versus boxing thing, you think that idea is almost bigger than the fact that it's Paulie versus Artem?
Not really, honestly. In my opinion, nobody gives a shit whether they're boxers, they're MMA fighters, they're kickboxers, they're jiu-jitsu guys. The world as a whole, we want to watch good fighters fighting good fights. That's all there is to it. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit whether it's MMA, kickboxing, wrestling, whatever. If it's a good fucking entertaining fight, both fighters are equally skilled and they're both in there giving it hell. That's what we want to see. And I hope to God that we get out here and they put on a Jason Knight Artem Leboeuf 2 fight. But I'm telling you right now, this ain't no Jason Knight fight. I ain't in there. It ain't gonna be nothing like it was last time because yours truly is not there. I promise you. Whenever y'all watch the fight, you're like, damn, where's Jason Knight at? All right, and then everybody's gonna be more excited about August the 10th. So it's a win-win for me.
I was talking
well, I guess touch on it, man. What would you change if you could go back and change something in that fight? What would you go back and change?
If I could go back and change from in the Autumn fight, I started out, kind of being conservative, worried about breaking my hands, and I guess you could say I kind of let him get ahead on me. First round, I do not fucking think I lost really like I did, like they say I did or whatever. I can't really remember. Anyway, to go back and watch the fight and watch it over and over again, I don't think I lost 3 out of 5 rounds. I think I won 3 out of 5. He lost 3 out of 5. But shit happened. I know next time we go in there, I don't give a shit if I break my hands. I'm not going to worry about them. I'm not going to try to play it safe. As soon as that bell rings, I'm getting in his fucking face and I'm staying there all night and I'm going to try to overwhelm him. It's going to be it's going to be 4th and 5th round from the beginning. It's not going to be, trying to play it easy and make sure you're safe, make sure you don't break your hands. It's going to be, fuck it, let's break these hands from the beginning. And if they break, I'm going to hit him with a crumbled up, broken ass hand.
Yeah.
And I
Get that
promise
sting
you,
out of the way.
the next time I meet Artem, in that fucking squared circle, he will not walk out of it. I'm telling you right now.
Jay, give me your phone so I can show you. All right.
Yeah, dude, if I had 30 more seconds, I would finish the last fight. But, I say that. The man, I don't understand how he was still standing a few times. I was here with some matches. Yeah.
You guys are beating the hell out of each other, man. I had you in that fight. I agree with you on that. I had you in 3 out of 5.
There's plenty of times you don't know how the fuck I was still standing.
Dude, that was an excellent fight.
Did you brush your teeth?
Where's your Hillary Clinton? Come on, sir. I heard you made some money off that.
I've been hanging out with your boy all night. We was gonna come wake you up.
You ain't fighting tomorrow night?
I can't.
No, she's drinking tonight.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing you ain't fighting tomorrow night.
Tom, why don't you touch on that too, man? Like the first time you fought a bare knuckle boxing fight, was there a lot of worry about breaking the hands and you weren't quite sure how it was going to happen, or maybe more comfortable, or you just said screw it?
I had a very different mentality going in. I was conservative, but I had my mentality going into that first one was this is a street fight. I'm not wearing gloves. I hit this motherfucker one time, he's gonna go down. It's a street fight, And it wasn't. I went out there, I hit him a handful of times, and he looked at me like, motherfucker, and then he came back and hit me back, you know what I'm saying?
And you're just like, this is it.
And then it was like, oh shit, yeah, we got in the middle of that, we're going to take some damage, and now it's going to be actually a fight. But no, there was never any concerns about breaking my hand. I've broken both my hands plenty of times, so it's yeah.
Right now, I mean, you want to climb under the table? What's up?
You know that so well.
But yeah, so like going
Good
into that
job,
fight.
Cal. That's why we're friends, homie.
Going into that fight, I never had any concern about breaking my hands or anything like that. It was more so about my mentality was the exact opposite. So I don't have pads. Let's just get after this motherfucker. And it's not that. It's not a street fight. We are talented fighters. We are all trained professionals. So I went in with the wrong mentality in that first fight, and it showed because I got knocked the fuck out. But I came back in the second one with a better mentality. Don't take damage, don't take shots, don't have the Rocky mentality of taking two to give two, and it worked out better for me. But yeah, no, my concern, the best way that I could sum all this up was my concern was never about breaking my hands. My concern was always about just trying to finish the fight as quickly as possible.
I mean, is that similar to kind of how you feel?
Yeah, but I mean, the first fight I was just trying to make sure I didn't break my hands for one. For two, I got so much scar tissue on my face, I knew that I was going to cut. You know, so I was trying to think better that it's safe, you know, whatever. Try not to get cut too bad. Try not to take too much damage. Move your head, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, I've got decent skills. I've got okay boxing. I've got okay footwork. I've got a lot of work to do. But I think I showed some improvements in that fight, and I'm going to show a lot more improvements from now on. But yeah, I'm just ready to get back in there and fucking go to war.
You know what you left out that you have that you can't teach? Next level toughness. Can't teach that. That's not something you can
You
learn
are
in
an
the gym.
elite level tough guy. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that.
I've always told guys coming up, you know what I'm saying, I can teach you anything in this world. I can't teach you how to heart. You show up with this much heart, that's all I need. Show up that much heart, we can take you anywhere. We can give you everything else that there is to learn. But you know what I'm saying, you show up with no heart, I don't give a damn how good you are. First time you get put in a bad spot, it's over with. But I'm one of those guys, it doesn't matter how bad of a spot I am, it doesn't matter how bad you kick me while I'm down, I'm going to keep working to get my way back up. And then fucking once I get on my feet and I get to going, it's going to be hell to pay, you know.
It's like you touched on before about like the training camps. You know, if you're in an 8-week training camp for MMA, 6 of those weeks, like something hurts.
Oh, yeah.
And this, you know, they're like, your skill set and the ideology of the sport is one-dimensional essentially. So you can go in there and you can spend a lot of time focusing on getting better, getting more talented with just your striking, and your boxing can skyrocket that way because you don't have to take a third of your training and put it towards your jiu-jitsu, a third of your training and put it towards your wrestling. You know what I'm saying? You can focus so much on just your striking right now that you've got no option but to get better.
And I mean, on top of that, dude, I'm not spending 1, 2, 3 days out the week where I'm half-assing it because I'm sore. You know what I'm saying? In boxing, I hit my combo mitts, I spar my rounds, I fucking work the footwork that my coach tells me. You know, I do whatever drills that he wants me to do. I spar a little bit, and my neck never hurts.
Right.
I never have to twist out of an arm bar and my elbow hurt. I never got to fight out of a heel hook and then worry about my knee hurting for the next week. You know, that's one thing I think has been a big game changer for me. I've been doing this shit since I was 14 years old. I'm 26 now, so 12 years of abuse on this whole body, man. I'm telling you, I feel like I'm 45 already. And it's kind of nice just to sit back and train just the boxing, not really beat up my body. And I mean, of course, I'm not done fighting MMA, I don't think. Of course, I'm going to do at least a few more. But in the meantime, I'm going to get my boxing real good and slowly but surely work on everything else and not kill myself on every 8 week trying to get it. I go out there one morning, feel fine, some asshole grabs me in a guillotine, and then next thing you know, I'm walking around like this for a week. In boxing, I don't have to worry about it. With bare-knuckle boxing, you know, I might have to worry about getting my nose busted or breaking my hand because I hit one of my training partners too hard or some shit. But I mean, if you got decent training partners, you have nothing like that to worry about. You know?
You know what? I'll tell you another point too that maybe a lot of people don't bring up so much is that boxing and MMA are so saturated in terms of the amount of fighters and the amount of spots that are on top. It's hard to get those positions because the guys that are there have either been there for a while or they're not going anywhere anytime soon. With bare knuckle boxing coming back into the mainstream, right? And it's, a lot of people are buzzing about it, a lot of people are talking about it. Right now, it's a smaller pond. And there's more room, I think, for those top spots versus your MMA or your boxing because it's so oversaturated. There's a gazillion MMA promotions.
Anybody has the ability to be a superstar.
Yeah.
I had a very similar conversation like this with a training partner of mine, and he was like, "Man, it's a great time to be a fighter."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's not. It's a great time to be a mediocre fighter, but there are, like you said, it's so flooded, and there are so many people in this sport. It's you have to weed through a lot of bullshit to get to the talent, to get to truly talented fighters. Like even in the UFC, they're signing guys that are 4-3. They're signing 50-50 fighters because they have to fill slots. It's not that they're talented guys. It's not that they're through the roof with expertise. It's just they have to fill slots. They're putting on a card every week. 15 fights a card. You gotta have 30 fighters a week. All right, and if guys are fighting once every 3 months, once every 4 months, you gotta have a huge fucking roster. Plus, you're going all over the world. You gotta have guys from all over the place. It's so flooded with mediocrity right now. That, like you're saying, bare knuckle has a great opportunity because the pool is so small that you can grab the best guys right away and bring them up to the top and really create actual champions out of them. As opposed to having a bunch of guys that are mediocre and hopefully finding somebody that's really great. Like you said, there's so many organizations and there's so many people putting on MMA shows. I guarantee you, tonight, tomorrow night, this weekend, there's probably 150 shows across the country. Easily. 150 shows across the country.
That's safe to say, from the smallest little one.
Right.
I bet you there's one bare knuckle fight tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Guaranteed. There's only one. We can guarantee. I'll take that back. I guarantee there's probably a whole hell of a lot more bare knuckle fights.
One sanctioned.
One that's sanctioned and one that's legal and one that's going to be on
Now,
fight TV.
here's a pretty training question. One of your training partners also the organization has. No. Do you think there's any advantage to training with someone who shares this sport because it's a different sport? Like you can go spar with boxers and MMA guys, but do you think there's a difference? Because let's say they're sparring, he can grab his neck. He can grab his neck. You can work. It's different. You're both in the sport. Do you think it adds something because you guys have both experienced this?
Yeah, man, I guess it can help, but at the same time, I can grab, this guy's a training partner and tell him, hey, look, we're gonna work clinch today. We're gonna clinch the back of my neck. We're gonna tie plum is our half tie plum is legal, and
this is what we're doing.
That's what we're doing, and any training partner works with that. But Harris, he's a great guy, great training partner.
He is Clark Kent of bare knuckle.
Yeah, he's Clark Kent. He's a beast in MMA as well. Harris is just one of those guys that it kind of blows your mind. You look at him and you think, man, this guy's soft. But Harris has got the whole package. He's good in boxing. He's good
Tough
in
dude.
MMA.
Finished one of my training partners. His first fight at BKFC 2 was against one of my training partners.
Yeah,
Richard Collins.
I'm talking about Sandman?
Busted up his eye with that one shot. Yeah, no doubt about it.
We've had him on the show too. He's cool.
He's a real cool guy. Good guy. Police officer as well, you know what I'm saying? So you got him on.
Monteo is outclassed and Empire 2. That's the only thing, man.
Montana. I guess it's like that. James Montana.
Yeah. It was a good fight, man. It was a good fight.
Harris just had a tough another night.
But guess what? Win or lose, he gets back in the gym, grinds it out, shows up.
Make more money. That's it.
Well, and that's another thing too, right? Because the pool is so small, and because that you're not sustaining as much damage, whether it be training, practice, the fights itself. You're able to fight more. You're able to be seen more multiple times, And it's almost like, from an entertainment perspective, the audience gets more comfortable with Tom Show, gets more comfortable with Jason Knight. And it's almost like your fan base, the more they see you, you know, they're getting more used to you. You're getting more known to the fan base. They want to see you more.
This guy showed up to the weigh-ins and
everybody
isn't fighting had to do immediately.
Yeah.
People are stopping her. You know, that's awesome, though. That's a good thing.
I mean, I feel like, honestly, as of right now, not saying it's going to stay like this. As of right now, bare knuckle, it seems to me like they're looking for the guys who really want to put on a fight. I'm not here to play it safe. I'm not here to try and make sure that the other guy doesn't do too much damage to me. I'm here to put on a show and fucking lay my heart on the line, and I think that's what most of these bare knuckle guys are doing. They're going out here, they're laying their heart on the line. I haven't seen one guy really, try to play it safe, try to take the easy way out of the fight. Everybody's going forwards and they're trying to get the win. And I mean, in MMA, you see that so much these days. The guys are,
they fight not to lose.
Yeah, if he's a better wrestler than me, he's gonna take me down, and he's not gonna throw any fucking punches just because he's scared I might throw up a submission.
Right.
Man, that's so garbage, dude. I mean, if I'm in an MMA fight and I take you down, I get on top of you, you best believe I'm finna try to do everything I can to land a fucking punishment. And if you throw up a triangle choke, you better be ready to finish that triangle choke because I know how to defend that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? If you throw up an arm bar, you better be able to throw. You know what I'm saying? You better be able to fucking stop me from doing a hitchhiker. You know? That's just the way it is. And fucking, if I'm on top of you, I'm throwing punches. You throw me an arm bar, I'm taking it home with me. It's not gonna be, oh man.
That's like you. You're not fighting to win. You're fighting to not lose. There's a difference.
Precisely.
There's a difference.
Precisely. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not here to score points. I'm not here to win by decision. I'm here to beat your fucking ass. Like, I want to make sure that you know when you go home tonight that I did that to you. Win or lose, you're going to leave with a scar to remember me by. That's my mentality. And it always has been.
You think that also speaks to, because the pool is so small, that because Dave Feldman really filters through that, because if you do fight in the sense of where you're kind of maybe running around and you're trying to play more the defensive role,
you'll get called on it.
You'll either get called on it, you won't be invited back, or you're probably not going to be in the card in the first place.
You'll get called on it in front of the entire
show.
community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that David has made it very clear from the very first show, because I was there.
Yeah.
If you don't fight, now I will say this. He's never not paid anybody. I know that for a fact. Everybody's always gotten paid.
Right.
But he said it from the very beginning. If you don't fight, you don't get paid. We're here to see fights. We want fighters. We want people to come out here and we want them to fight. We want you to put on a show. If you don't leave it all in there, you're not going home with the money you thought you were going home with. And from a fighter's perspective, fuck yeah. Because I don't want somebody trying to score points. I don't want somebody trying to dance around, like, I want to fight you. Granted, I fight moving backwards, but I fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I use a lot of footwork, I use a lot of angles, but at no point am I running, at no point am I being evasive from contact or from combinations or anything like that. Like, we're here to fight, and that's what David wants. But he's made it known from jump. You're here to fight.
Well, you know what? I think that's a point he has to stick, because even at this show, you guys are still here. This is still new. It's just over a year. Granted, they're on the 6th show, but it's new.
Yeah.
If you start padding this, running that, right? It's a constant upward. It's an upward struggle for him.
Absolutely.
And like Florida, that's like winning a war. Then he has to go to another state to win the next war. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The UFC did it, and it took them. Well, I can't guarantee it, but I would bet that bare knuckle is legal in all 50 states faster than it took MMA.
Is MMA legal in all 50 states?
Huh?
Is it officially legal in all 50 states?
Yeah.
Aren't they still states
I thought
that it's illegal?
I thought MMA hit all the states now.
I'm pretty sure there's still states. Like, I know up until just like 2 years ago, whatever, New York was still out. So you couldn't go
New
there.
York's
And I
New
think,
York
like,
was the last one.
was it the last one? I thought there were a couple more
Yeah,
of
but it took them a
the
very
13
long time.
colonies or whatever
It took
there.
them for a very long time
Yeah.
to
Right.
dominate the 50 states.
For sure.
I feel like this company will do it in a third of it.
It certainly
It's
could.
going to get
Absolutely.
popular.
Absolutely.
And what's that generate? A popular event, people like him, people like you fighting. That generates revenue for the town that you're in.
Absolutely.
We have a stadium, the stadium's full. Those people get hotels.
You get
Those people.
tourism, the whole
Yeah.
yards, absolutely.
The thing is,
Everybody wins.
the thing is the way that bare knuckle stays successful. If you ask me, you keep booking real fights. Don't fucking stop. You know, trying to book real fights because you want this money fight to happen.
Right.
And then, I mean, Podmalik Naji, however you say his name is, the guy's here just for the money. He's trying to make money fights happen. Of course, yeah, it'd be awesome. Everybody wants to see Conor McGregor come fight bare knuckle. But fucking Conor McGregor's got entirely too much money to worry about fucking Malik Naji's garbage ass. I mean, that's never gonna fucking happen. Never.
Didn't you say something like this like an hour ago?
They have so much. They have a better chance of fighting in the fucking parking lot because Paulie was talking shit than they do of fighting in the bare knuckle range. If you ask me. I mean, I would love it. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see fucking Conor come over here and beat him up. But it's not gonna happen. And I mean, my thing is don't push the agenda. Don't go out of your way to try and make some garbage ass money fights happen. You got real fighters wanting to fight in real fights all fucking day long. Don't go looking for guys just because they're gonna fill up the arena. Go look for guys who's gonna go out here and put it on the line and fucking leave this place bloody and in a mess with a smile on their face because they just fucking fought the war. You know what I'm saying?
Over time, too, you know, like you get a guy like that, for example, a guy like you, 26 years old, got a handful of fights, plenty of experience. A guy like me, 30 years old, handful of fights, plenty of experience. You get us young in our career, you get us neutral in our career, you build us, you have us for a long time. We're here to fight, we're here to put on shows, we're here to please the crowd, we're here to do exactly what you want us to do. And we can do that for 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 shows. Paulie? You think Paulie's going to do that for 2 more shows?
I think this is the only
Yeah, so
time
you think he fights again?
I don't think he fights after. I think he fights
And that's my thing. It's like they're dumping all this, like you were saying, you know, you're throwing all this money out to make these big shows to fill up the venue, but that guy's going to leave. You know, he's not going to
Does
be a
it almost
full-time
make sense for Florida because he has a home league, right? So it's like in the
I
backyard.
understand the business mindset, the business mentality behind what David's doing. I get it.
Mr. Worldwide in the building.
Especially because it's a newer organization, it's a newer show. I understand that wholeheartedly. I have to 100% agree with what Jason's saying, and that's stop. Don't build a company off of these mega fights. Build your company off of the fighters that want to fight for your company. They make real fighters who are volunteering and being like, yeah, let's get in here, let's do this. That's
Well,
here.
here, I'm gonna go stand in the background and forfeit my seat so you can have your turn.
Get in here.
I'm on automatically in rotation. I got pop brownie stuff in that road. I wish
I
I
was
did.
about to be like,
No, trust me, man.
There's about to be a fight over the brownie.
I'll get in rotation here.
I'd have a sour gummy edible for you if I could. Trust me on that.
Jeff, we were just talking about win, lose, or draw. Do you think Paulie's ever going to fight bare knuckle again? Win, lose, or draw?
You know something? It's difficult it's really kind of difficult for me to ascertain whether or not it's going to be a yes or no for Paulie because I think once again it's all about getting your feet wet. I think that he's going to really kind of test this and see because in my opinion, if you're going to fight again, it depends on if you're embarrassed or not. Because I think if there's any kind of embarrassment and if Artem just completely and totally goes postal and eats shit on him, and after all that shit talking that he gets shut down that quickly, I doubt that we will see him ever again in a bare knuckle capacity. However, if it's competitive, he might get the itch. So I think it's just whether or not he gets embarrassed or not if he's going to continue.
You know what's funny?
I don't want to see him get embarrassed. The problem with it is I don't want to see anybody get embarrassed. I want people to continue on with the wonderful tradition now that is bare knuckle that we've set up. Look at the round table that we got. Tom Shoaff has been able to go ahead and come back from a loss and gain himself a victory with an epic victory. And not only that, he has a badass fight coming up tomorrow, and
Need I say anything fucking more?
Nothing to
Jason, goddamn fucking Knight, the man right now who is responsible for one half of the greatest bare knuckle fight in modern bare knuckle history. And also the coolest fucking post photo in the history of bare knuckle, man. It was like from Seed of Chucky. It was incredible. What more can we possibly say? I'm going to tell you something, guys. Let the naysayers say what the fuck that they want to, unless you actually come here and experience bare knuckle in person for yourself. You're not going to know. You're not going to know. You're going to see from afar. How many times do we see things from afar and judge? It's so easy to see things from afar on a TV screen as opposed to being there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Totally.
I say, Polly's gonna fight this one fight, big money fight. This is the most epic live stream. Polly's, he's gonna get paid.
Like 2 hours.
He's hoping and praying that fucking he goes out here and gets a win. It makes Conor mad. And I believe that's the only way that Polly fights again is if they offer him some kind of big money fight.
It's gonna have to be.
Other than that, the dude's just more than done.
You know, I'm not really interested in Conor really getting into bare knuckle. The idea has got people talking, but when it actually comes down to it, are we really going to see the Conor that we want to see in bare knuckle? I don't think that that's going to happen, man. I am more interested with the upcoming talent in bare knuckle. I am interested in seeing fucking Jason Knight in fucking August 10th. Oh my God, man. When I heard about that, man, I was so fucking excited, man. That is going to be a fight like no one else, man. August 10th, Jason Knight going to be going tooth and nail once again, man. I'd rather watch you than Paul.
Jeff, you know what makes that more awesome? Tell him the moment you found out you were for sure going to fight Conor Garcia.
Man, we've been talking about it and stuff. My coach, I've been talking to him a few times, told him, get me to fight and everything. I get here yesterday, and they said, hey, man, come here, we got something I want to show you. I walk over there, and there's Jason Knight versus Garcia on the canvas. Like, yeah, got the fight.
You crazy?
No, I love it, man. I love it because what it's doing is it's promoting bare knuckle the way that it's supposed to be done. Look at how many people have fallen already at the hip waders because they don't know how to promote this the right way. I mean, there was one promoter, I'm not going to mention names, that had one fucking fight that was trying to do something epic, and he ended up fucking over everybody and everything that was in his way. Everything. David Feldman has the formula.
And it's a shame because it was a decent show for what it was.
I knew it was going to fall. I knew it was. It was too big for its own good.
Yeah, it's a shame.
And any time that you start handing out titles rather than making people fight for them on a tournament basis, where's the legitimacy in that? Oh my God! You get a title on one fight. Great, you win a title on one fight. That's wonderful. But what happens in your defense when you get spanked like a puppy? Spanked like a motherfucking puppy because you had no opportunity to cut your teeth in a bare knuckle tournament. And I think that is what makes it more legitimate. I mean, that's why we have this lightweight tournament coming up. Reggie Barnett, Johnny Bedford, they have cut their teeth. They're both 3-0 as bare knuckle professionals now. They've cut their teeth in it. They are ready for someone to go home with that belt.
Yeah, 100%.
How can you argue that?
You can't.
You can't.
You can't argue that.
This man right here, I'm going to tell you, bare knuckle superstar, future bare knuckle world champion. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going
I got to get the Leonard Garcia fight. It's a tough fight. But, I'm ready. He's coming to my house, coming back to Mississippi. And I don't plan on going to a decision this time. I try not to, right? They like to decision. I'm not going to say that I'm going to blame bare knuckle or blame judge. I feel like I won the last fight, and I'm going to make damn sure that it doesn't go that far this time.
Can I say as a fan, and I know that, we talked about it before, you talked about it now, is that you're still interested in MMA. But I tell you what, if I take my analyst cap off and just from a fanboy perspective, man, like I don't want to see you do anything else but this now. I mean, so like I don't want. I mean, hey, I understand, but like I don't want to see you do anything else but bare knuckle, man. Like it was so good. Like what you embody and your toughness. Like it just
feeling Tom Shoaff back in the game.
It's just an intangible. Like you said, the one thing you can't teach is toughness. You can be the best this or that physically, but if you don't have that mental toughness, right, you're not going to succeed. You have that intangible, right? And as a fanboy, I don't want to see you do anything else.
I don't want to see any bare knuckles go back to anything. No, I don't want to see any bare knuckles go back to anything outside of bare knuckle. This is not a stepping stone.
Right.
This is not an opportunity for you to make yourself a name in MMA. This is an opportunity for you to make yourself a name in bare knuckle.
100%.
That's why I'm not a big fan of what Beck Rawlings did. I'm gonna tell you, I love Beck Rawlings, but I think that she is jumping the gun on that because I think honestly she was a glove fit for bare knuckle, and to automatically jump just because an offer is made, I think honestly she should have turned it down, raised her status a little bit more, and then maybe she would have been offered a little bit more money on the next offer at that point. Because I think sometimes in that situation, if you're going to make the run and make it count for the right money.
I was shocked she jumped to Bellator.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, man. When it comes down to it, it's UFC and Bellator. One championship is obviously another part of the promised land that's really being built up. But Bellator and UFC are the ones that have the name cachet as of right now. But you don't know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, she may have gotten a multiple fight deal and everything like that, but is there going to be any kind of title opportunity in her way anytime soon to where she's going to be relevant? Unfortunately not. I just don't see it happening. I really don't. Look what she has done in the limited time. Seriously, look what she has done in the limited time that she has been with bare knuckle. She is going to be a bare knuckle Hall of Fame inductee. She was the first ever Police Gazette Diamond Women's World Champion, and she has successfully defended the title on top of that.
Yeah.
So therefore,
and she is the Latin featherweight female
and she's
bare
the
knuckle champion.
WBF, Latin American bare knuckle women's champion. So she's the first ever in that sense. She's done so much more in bare knuckle. Beck, I love you. I love you. I probably actually have kind of a fighter crush on you. I'm going to be totally honest with you. But I really wish you had stuck it around with bare knuckle a little bit more, but I understand. Life is life, money is money. You have to go where the money is in that situation. I understand that. I just wish you had stuck around with bare knuckle a little longer. I do.
She'll be back. Is the grass really greener though on the other side?
No, I don't believe so at all. Because I believe growing an opportunity from scratch like we're doing right now is more important. I do.
I look at it like this. UFC, MMA, they already got their mega stars.
Damn straight.
And, I can either fucking stay in bare knuckle and be one of the top fighters right now. But don't get me wrong, there's going to be guys coming along that fight. They're way better boxers than me. They're way more skilled than me. And probably they're going to be way more famous than I ever thought about. People are going to want to watch them fight more than me. But as of right now, everybody wants to watch Jason Knight fight bare knuckle. So why in the hell would I fight my ass off to make it back to the bottom tier of the MMA, to the bottom tier of the UFC? Wherever fucking, right now, I'm at the top.
No, you're in the promised land right now.
I mean, the thing with Beck Rawlings is like she was one of the biggest names you guys had. That was one of the biggest names y'all had, and of course y'all were gonna try and help her rise. Y'all were gonna try to make damn sure that you promote the MMA, try to make sure that you get her name out there. And I think that's the best move. She goes to Bellator, she goes to UFC, she goes to ONE FC. She's getting this much exposure, dude, compared to that. There's so many more people there that they've got to worry about.
She's now back into a bigger pond.
Back
Small fish. She was the queen bee.
She ain't no queen bee in Bellator.
I mean, and the thing about it. Can she get there yet? Can she be?
I don't know if she's a traitor.
Can she be at the top?
Let me use these cats to resurrect my career so I can bail on you.
See, the thing about it is,
Fight some easy
why
opponents.
resurrect something that you had going when you were at the top?
She didn't have anything anything going. She wasn't doing anything.
She had the top going right now in bare knuckle. But in
bare knuckle when
MMA,
they brought her
but in MMA, no. No.
She didn't have shit. She didn't have nothing. She didn't do nothing.
Like I said, this
They
is not
resurrected her.
this is not a springboard. This should honestly be a plateau.
This should be the landing pad.
No, it's a plateau. It's where you should be. It's where you should be.
I heard, like you talked earlier, somebody said something about, this is where MMA fighters come. This the last stop on the way out. I'm 26. If I want to keep fighting, I promise you I can. If I want to go back to MMA, I promise you I can. If I want to work my ass off and fight on these few local shows, then I can do that. Yeah. But I have the option. I have two options. One, I go fight on a couple local shows for $2,500, $3,000, $5,000 a pop, something like that. Fight my ass off 3 or 4 times, train as hard as I fucking can, and maybe, possibly, hopefully, just maybe I'll get a shot in the UFC or Bellator or somebody else. They'll pick me up and pay me good money. Bare knuckle offered me money straight out the gate. I'm making more than I was in the UFC. Sign me up, let's go. Let's stay here, you know what I'm saying? Why would I go anywhere else? I'm going to stay right here, I'm going to make this money, and then it's non-exclusive. If somebody wants to call me for an MMA fight, if they're stupid enough to sign a bare knuckle boxer for an MMA fight and expect me, let's do it. You best believe if I get the opportunity to hit something in between and have some fun in between, I'm going to do it.
But you have that option.
Yeah, I just did a combat jiu-jitsu match not long ago. I looked absolutely horrible. I was out of shape. I hurt my ribs, a week or so before the combat jiu-jitsu, and just looked like shit. But I had a blast.
You had the option.
I had a blast doing it, man.
You had the option.
And I slapped the fire from that guy, and I had so much fun doing it.
Oh man, how much you love this, man.
But yeah, like he said, I had the option. Fair enough when they gave me that option.
There is, I'm going to tell you something. There's an air in bare knuckle that is unlike any other combat sport in the world, and it's because of the fact that we're building it from the ground up, and it's working. And I think that's what's scaring the shit about so many people. That's actually that it is working. The way that we are doing it, we've got the right people, we've got the right fighters, we've got, of course, obviously the right media personnel guys. Absolutely.
I think that's a possibility that's correct.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with.
As long as, a lot of people understand why do a lot of these promotions that have such promise fall, much sooner than they should. And I honestly think it's because of bad business decisions and the wrong people that are brought on. We have the right people. And the problem, and as long as the right people move this machine, we're going to be where we belong and where we deserve to be. And it's all about the right people, the right fighters. As long as we got people like Jason Knight who go out there and kill themselves, but understand the most important thing. See, Jason, the reason why I'm such a fan of yours, not only because you fight, but you know how you talk the working man's rap. You know how to get it done. You know how to push the fight. You push that art of the fight more than any UFC fighter that I've ever seen. You know what it takes to pump up the fight, and most importantly, the hype not only lived up to the fight, it surpassed it.
The way I look at it is, a lot of these guys, they're doing it all the time, all the hype, all that shit is just for a paycheck. What's happening, man? I mean, you got certain guys I want to see those people in the back. I'm fighting just because I got what you guys do. Of course, it's going to show every time. I want to hear it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Jason Knight, I'm going to get my ass in my bed. All right, brother. You're ready to lights out, Lytle. Thank you so much, Jason. Bring it in. Are you already know, baby? I heard about it. We were just talking about that. We're like, it'd be a great fight when we brought that up. And then they talked about this. And I was like, oh, this shit's really happening. Nice. Yeah. We're excited. All right, man.
We've got the man, not only on the fighting side, but the commentary side, the analytical side. Mr. Chris Lights Out Lytle. you guys have to understand that Chris is actually part of the very rare breed in bare knuckle, because not only does he have the perspective of what it's like inside the squared circle, he has the perspective on the outside, knowing what these bare knuckle fighters need to do moving forward. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong about that, Chris. I mean, seriously, man, you have got such a unique position where you are right now to where you can provide perspective of bare knuckle, which is only in its 6th event, on both sides.
Well,
That's huge.
I'm trying to have anything with the word fighting in it I want to be involved with, you know what I mean? Whether, bare knuckle fighting, regular boxing, mixed martial art, firefighting, any of that shit with the word fighting in it, I'm going to try and do it. So, I'll do the commentary angle, do the fighter angle. I'll be a cut man here soon if I have to, whatever it takes. I want to be involved.
He's involved. He's on the front lines. He's on the front lines, man.
Well, and that's the problem. I think I've been doing this a little over half my life. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just kind
That doesn't sound like a problem to me.
No, I'm just saying it's just like that's more of my life that I know than I don't. You know what I mean? And I've been doing that longer in my adult life, all my adult life, really. But as a kid, you don't remember. So I'm just saying all the stuff I know.
Let's touch on that, Chris, because we've been talking about like the evolution of bare knuckle boxing in the mainstream. So bare knuckle fighting in the mainstream. But like you said, you've been through it all. You've been doing it for so long.
I'll be back, guys.
You've seen this from the inception and being involved in combat sports for as long as you have, and being involved at the levels that you have. Did you ever think that bare knuckle boxing would A, even come back, and B, be in the position that it's in now with Malignaggi versus Lobov, and the world is on fire right now?
Of course not. It was funny. I remember how I started doing this. If you saw a little bit ago, my friend Joe Riggs was back there.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm looking on Facebook probably, I don't know, 3 years ago, and I see Joe Riggs, bare knuckle boxing. And I said, what's wrong with Joe? Why is he doing bare knuckle? And I thought bare knuckle was in London, so I remember I hit play on the thing, and I thought it was going to be in some warehouse with like bales of hay around. And, so I watched it fight. And after about halfway through the second round, I remember I said, I got to find out how to get a hold of these people. I kind of want to do this. That was how quick it takes. My uneducated ass thought it was going to be something that totally wasn't. When I watched it, I liked it. Okay. Me being, I've done boxing, a lot of pro boxing, a lot of pro MMA. I was like, this is the next level. I have to do this. I consider myself a competitive athlete because this is not what I thought. This is more skilled than I thought it was going to be. So I decided I want to try it. So I got a hold of them. They wanted me to come. I went over to England and did it. I thought, okay, that's in England. And then, I came back to America and I started talking to boxing commission in Indiana trying to get it legalized. And they laughed at me. They're not going to have it. And then about 6 months later, they legalized it here in Wyoming. And so then I got involved.
And we were talking about this too. So this is the first time in Florida. You think that with it being sanctioned in Florida now, that it opens up your bigger areas like Vegas and MSG in New York and places like that?
100%. And what I was talking about earlier, you guys have been at something with the number of people involved, like the press conferences and the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
I remember when I fought in like UFC 28, we had weigh-ins in a room about this big, day of, hardly anyone coming from like MMA magazines. I can't remember, or MMA 5 came in the magazine, but nobody was there, and then I fought again in 2003, it was a huge difference. And then, it got even bigger, so it took about like 5 or 6 years to really grow.
Yeah.
And from UFC or from BKFC 1 to 6 in 1 year, the expansion is huge. We've grown more in 1 year than UFC did when I was there in like 5 years. You know what I mean? So it's growing at a rapid rate. And I think that's a good thing. Obviously, it's a great thing.
But that kind of segues. I was going to ask this, like, what comparisons do you see with the early years of UFC and within just the 1 year of bare knuckle?
That's what I was trying to say. I mean, it's just such a huge. The growth is similar but exponentially greater. You know what I mean? So which is a good thing. I don't think they want to take 5 years to get to where they did in 1 year. You know what I mean? Who knows? It's harder. You got a lot more things against you right now. People like UFC probably like MMA doesn't want boxing probably takes away from them. So you deal with a few more obstacles. But obviously, I DC there was a hole on one of the things that they MMA junkie talking about which fight he's most excited about this week.
54% was here.
54% here. So I was like, damn. I mean, I feel it, but I don't know if I'm just too close to it. But that here validation like that's good.
Hey, you know what? Well, here's a good question. Obviously, it's a different sport. It's not boxing. It's not MMA, but it's under the umbrella of combat sports, and it's going to take away eyeballs because you think Dana White's looking because he's got a UFC card in North Carolina, right? I'm sorry, South Carolina, Greenville, right? Bellator has a card in London. You think they're looking? They're like, well, wait a minute. These guys came out of nowhere. They were in freaking the middle of nowhere a year ago. Now, wait a minute. You know, are they going to take some of our viewership?
100%.
54% apparently.
54% of the viewership.
Exactly.
Is this something Dana White and Scott Coker? Is this something going? Maybe they weren't thinking about it, but now maybe like, well, holy shit, wait a minute.
Well, I don't think it'll affect them until it affects them. Until all of a sudden you start losing some numbers and they start getting some ratings. Like, we had to do something. I mean, and who knows? Maybe at some point they'll start to say, hey, we put it on different nights. I don't know. You know what I mean? That'd be really cool if you could get like that. I mean, there's enough people want to watch everything, but I remember the days when they would always try to put all the fight at the same time or something to try and take away from me. Apparently that's not helping right now. You think lots of people want to watch this right here. People want to happen this fight, just like you and I. You know what I mean? So,
I think with Malignaggi versus Lobov, you know, Paulie's bringing a lot of eyeballs from the boxing world, right? Like everybody, you know, and I'm rehashing this, but it's just so fascinating. All the boxing media that he's bringing in, all the boxing fans that he's bringing in that wouldn't otherwise be watching it.
Well, when we were talking about this earlier, we said it's kind of funny. We figured, you know, the boxing crowd would be a little snooty and snobby about bare knuckle back. Oh, that's not real fun. We've been surprised at how much I think the MMA community has been kind of shutting it. You know, like, oh, those are washed up fighters. They're not, and kind
it's almost an opposite of what you guys thought.
Yeah, you know, they're kind of trashing them more, but a lot of fighters, you meet a lot of these just tough MMA guys who are doing well at it. You know what I mean? So you think it'd be embraced a little more, but it's not.
I think the embrace isn't there because the bigger picture is, holy shit, our guys are going to go over there. They're not going to come back. Like my favorite fighter in the UFC might head over to bare knuckle, and they're never going to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it, and you were like, I want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And from what I'm gathering, I talked to a lot of people. A lot of fighters they're asking about that. I mean, it's intriguing to them. A lot of people are like, I don't want to do it yet because the money's not there. And if the money becomes there, then they will be all about it. You know what I mean? It's just it's a different animal. I think a lot of people, you can tell the fighters who fight in like UFC or boxing who would be good at it and who would enjoy it. You know? Right. And I can tell what's funny when I first started doing a couple of bare knuckle fights. I could tell how much of a functioning psychopath I was when I would say stuff like, man, people are like, are you taking this as seriously as he is? Like, nah, I mean, I do this for fun. And then they look at me like, hey, you do bare knuckle boxing for fun? I was like, that doesn't sound right, but yes, you know what I mean? I just enjoy the competition. I like the training, I like everything about it. And this is like, I wish this boy was here 5 years ago when it's just when I was so younger because it's got all the elements of the stuff I like. You know what I mean? So, yeah, do this for fun. That's how I know something's not right.
And we've gathered from the fighters that in the midst of the fight, the no gloves there's no difference.
No,
maybe afterwards.
At the beginning, it is, but like when you first have your first run, like, oh shit, this is different. You know what I mean? But after you're in the mix and you adjust, if you've been a fighter for a long time, you adjust to everything. Yeah. So you adjust, and then it's just a fight. And you figure it out. Like, how do I used to block like this. I got to block like this. I have to keep my distance here. You adjust if you're a good fighter. I mean, if you know about fighting, you know how to adjust. It's all fighting. Something big happened.
I don't think anything big happened. That's what's making it even weirder.
That's probably too. How do you follow that?
You don't. This is where you just close out.
This is where you close out the show. But man, I tell you what, we're pumped, man. And what I was saying to everybody, and I've said it to Stitch, and I've said it talking to Jeff about it, is that everybody involved in this, from like the staff, the fighters, the media, us, like there's an excitement that you want the manufacturer, Chris. Like I don't have to pretend to be excited about this show because it's my job, and I'm like, yeah, BKFC6, woohoo, Malinaja for Snowball, woohoo. It's not like that at all. Like when I talk about it, we smile and we laugh and we get passionate about it. You know?
I mean, okay, I would say there's legitimately probably like 7 fights in here that I'm really excited about. You know what I mean? And the other ones that aren't just because I don't really know some guys too well, but they might be the best fight. I don't know, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of fights in here, especially like top 4. I'm just like, dude, I can't wait to see.
Look at you.
I feel like if I'm a kid, this is Christmas. You know what I mean? It's just like, ooh, you know what I mean? It's like,
It's exciting.
This is my present to open tomorrow.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I'm kind of giddy right now.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
And it's hard to have a boring fight. Let's just call it what it is. You got no gloves on.
Well, I mean, I've seen a couple here, but it's just where people like hugging when I fight it out. But I mean, that's actually exception, not the norm. You know what I mean? Like you like some of those. You like, oh, that was a great fight that night when you're talking about other sports. But it's not the exception here. It's the norm when you have a good fight.
For example,
somebody's getting hit. I mean, I remember the first one I was, when I fought in Mississippi. I mean, the first fight was like, dude, these people were dropping each other. There was 2 knockdowns in the first round, and I was like, dude, this is where it's at, man. And every punch you heard was, it's like, oh, that hit hard. I mean, that hit clean. That person just got dropped. It was great.
Is it any? I would say it's a different stress, a different process, but the non-obvious differences being on the broadcast team and prepping and getting ready for a show versus actually fighting in terms of the preparation, in terms of stress. Is it any?
There's no. This is not. I mean, like maybe if I hadn't had a bunch of fights, I feel like stress. But to me, I'm thinking nobody's hitting me out here. I'm gonna go out there and if I talk,
this is a breeze.
This is nothing. I mean, you want to do
somebody's paying me to talk about fighting.
Yeah, and this is like I do it for free every day. So I mean, I mean, you don't want to mess up and you want to do well, but I mean, it's not the same. There's not
the same pressure.
There's no pressure in the world like going out there and getting ready to fight on TV. You know, especially. Here's the thing, like when you go out there, people always ask, are you scared to fight? Are you scared when you go out there? And I say every time I went out there, I was scared, but it was never scared to get hurt. I was always afraid to disappoint myself, disappoint my family, disappoint my fans, disappoint my people who help me train. That's a real pressure you have. You just want to go out there and do well. Win, lose, or draw. I want to go out there and fight well. There's nothing worse than going out there and be like, I didn't fight as well as I could have. You know, that's very disappointing. And you have that until you fight again. So it's terrible. So I don't really have that feeling. One-on-one out there by yourself, one other person, I just have to talk. I talk every day. Probably too much.
Let's pull back to what it's going to take for Paulie to win this fight. You coming from the traditional boxing world, the MMA world, and we touched on this when we did our interview with you and Lytle, and you guys broke it down beautifully. But maybe for people who didn't watch that, and shame on you if you didn't watch that, check it out.
Look it up.
It was amazing. But the non-obvious differences, man. What do you if you were? And you touched on this great, but maybe kind of restate it. If you were part of Paulie's team, part of Paulie's camp, and if you were going to recommend one thing for him to practice or to train on in the 3 months he's had for this fight, what would it be?
Distance. That's the one word that means everything here is distance. And that's what the fight is all about. It's about if he can keep his distance, or if Artem can close that distance without getting hit too many. If he comes in slowly and tries to grab him and he takes 2 punches every time, it's going to be tough. If he takes 2 clean shots, he can't take clean shots, many of them. So it's all about Paulie being able to hit and move. Yeah. But you have to do that for 10 minutes. If he starts getting leaned on, grabbed, if Artem can close that gap without taking too much damage and grab him and be heavy on him, it's going to be tough because there's nowhere to run over the high. Boxing, you get tired, you grab the guy, you hold him for 5 seconds, the referee breaks you up. You're not going to hold him like that because he's going to be hitting you, punching. The referee's not going to break it. He's going to work your way out and then go, oh shit, I don't know how. You can't rest here. Boxing's easy to rest. Every time you get tired, you grab the guy. As long as you can stop that punching from happening right away. You got a break. You got a 5-second break. Not the case here. So the 2-minute rounds at a faster pace. If I'm always saying that we got to work on you being able to move and not letting this guy come in to tie you up. You can't close that distance quickly. You have to hit him before he closes that distance and then move.
Talking about the pace, so I mean, like you said, isn't it more like bare knuckles more of, say, in terms of it's 2-minute rounds, times 5 rounds, it's more of a sprint versus a marathon?
And that's another thing when we talk to people. And the thing I realized when I was doing is, I'm a big sparring guy. Like I could go in round after round after round after round. I'm thinking, hey, I'll do 3-minute rounds, 5-minute rounds. This will get me in better shape. Yeah, but now all of a sudden what I'm doing is I'm trying to run a marathon, and I'm really supposed to be doing sprints.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense. You can't train. You need to train hard for 5 2-minute rounds. That's what you need to be doing. You need to be doing sprints, 2 minutes at a time. Boom, 2-minute sprints, and then getting a minute break, and then 2-minute sprint through 5 minutes. That's what you're fighting for. That's like if I go out and jog 10 miles, that does not help me at all. I mean, the fight ain't going to be like that. It's not going to be a real slow pace for an hour. It's going to be a fast pace for 2 minutes at a time. So you have to train the way you're going to fight. So it's just a little bit different like that, and you have to train the proper way to make sure that you can exactly recapture exactly that dynamic you're going to have when you go out that night.
We are going to get to Vegas because
you think Paulie's fight IQ transfers over?
I mean, fight IQ does. However, I don't care what anybody says. It's going to be a little bit of a growing pain period. Yeah. And I remember when I fought first time.
You think he's going to be shell shocked? I mean, when that first round is over, he's like, holy shit, this is not what I thought.
I think so. Now, will he be able to adapt and overcome that throughout? Possibly. But I mean, I remember, the first time I fought, I felt like that. I remember afterwards, Melvin Gallard's like, it'll take you about 3 fights before you start feeling well. So it's just a little difference. I mean, when these weird punches were coming at weird angles and different things, I remember I was thinking, it's not normal to you. Like if you're a baseball player throwing a weird pitch at you, just like, hey, I'm not, even if it's not as fast as usual, it's kind of different. You know what I mean? So it just takes a little bit to adjust. But I think after the first 2 minutes, like, okay, what's going on here? But can he adjust? Possibly. I don't know. That's why it's exciting.
I was listening to somebody, and I don't remember who it was. And it was like another boxer, I don't know. I guess technically it doesn't matter. But he was analyzing the footage that Paulie was his training footage was, and said that the way he was punching, the way you punch when your hand's inside a glove versus the way you punch bare knuckle, is 2 entirely different things. And he says that the way he was watching his training videos, and he kind of talked about how, in bare knuckle, you're from here to here should kind of be in a straight line. From your elbow to your knuckle, it should be a straight line, because if it's like you're hitting people like this or something's not, and I can't really speak to it because I don't do it, but he said that if he punches people the way that he was training, he said he's going to break every bone in his hand.
Yeah, that could be real, especially one of my favorite punches is the left hook.
Excuse me for dropping in, guys. Good night.
Take care, brother.
We'll see you
in the morning.
Rock and roll, motherfuckers.
There you go.
So you hit somebody that left hook, bam, that's a great punch with the boxing glove. Not quite as much when I'm hitting you here with my fist. It's going to do a lot of damage to my
What's your fist look like? I mean, cause I have no clue. When you're punching in the glove, how is your fist versus?
Well, like I said, when I'm punching in a glove, as far as it depends on where you hit. Like my hands are going to be pretty similar, glove or no glove. But I can, with my glove, I can hit you in different places, and I can't hit you with bare knuckles. That's my big difference.
Right.
If I'm hitting you in the same place, I mean, here all I really want to do is straight punches.
There's a wider surface.
Yeah. So it's not doing all the damage. And you got that padding. You can hit them, and you can hit them here in the side of the head. It can hurt the head. If I hit you there with my bare knuckles, there's a good chance that's going to do some damage to my knuckles.
Yeah.
On these, metatarsal bones in there. So
what about like rolling punches off the shoulder? That's something you can't do with bare knuckles.
That's very different. I mean, you could try it.
Someone fucking hurts.
You could try it. I'd be scared of it. And if you, it still hurt. But even if you just a little miss right here, boom, and that hits you there, that's gonna hurt. Like with the boxing gloves, you hit it, grazes off all the time, but it's not a clean punch. only clean punch with boxing gloves is going to hurt you. It's different with a little, with no glove. That's still going to hurt, you know. So I haven't got to the point where I'm comfortable enough of rolling and slipping punches like that. I think you could get there, but I mean, it's going to take you some
It's
fights.
just different.
It's
so
going to
different.
take you a lot of fights to get used to that, or a lot of different training that haven't done yet. So
The habits that he has from traditional boxing and the fact that
it's going to be
he's
so difficult to change.
it's right.
Now the best guys are going to be, if you're really good with your head movement, it'll be very beneficial. But you're still going against bigger gloves and being able to have people barely punching. But those little no gloves that you can hit is just a little bit different. Actually, it's a lot different. So
Yeah.
that's that it's very intriguing to me. Here's one of the things we were thinking. Like let's say Paulie does get mauled.
Yeah.
No boxers are doing this. So they're going to say, "I'm not touching that sport. That's nuts. I'm out." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's like this could kill it for professional boxing.
You know, that's a good point. Like we were kind of talking about it earlier, and this kind of goes. I guess this kind of touches more on the trash talk aspect than him playing the heel roll aspect. But it's all the trash that he's talked and the heel roll. Does anything other than an absolute murder of Artem, like if he beats Artem close decision, it's with all the trash he's talked, he's got him murdered.
Yeah.
Even if he wins by decision, I still feel like he looks bad.
Yeah.
Even if he beats him close decision.
100%. I mean, a close decision.
Like he's dug himself into a hole now.
He's painted himself into this corner where he's got one way out. Brutalize him.
You know, and is that going to affect him to the point to where if he ever wanted to try to make it, if he loses to Artem, if he goes out there and loses, can he even go back to regular boxing? Or is that it?
I mean, I don't think anybody want to touch him then because you got beat by them.
You got beat by an MMA guy.
Exactly. He's done with it, So I don't think that. I think it would be pretty catastrophic. You know what I mean? And that's what's going to be. He's put a lot of pressure on himself. So let's see what happens if he goes back to after round one. He goes back to his corner. I wonder what's going through his head. He's going to think all his worst nightmares are going to be coming true.
I would love. I don't know if they're already thinking. I would love, like UFC got to where they put microphones in the corners, and you can hear the. I would love for them to be in the corner.
Well, the last couple broadcasts, that's what I did. I went in the corners.
Yeah.
Had me do that this time. So I went. I'm actually doing more of the regular broadcast with it to have May and a boxer's point of view. But I would love to go in there and just listen to what would be instead too, because that'd be very telling.
Yeah. Because I think we're going to know exactly how the fight's going to go in the first round.
A lot of people said that the fight doesn't start until the first clinch happens, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I thought that's pretty good. Now we'll see what happens. Yeah, get that first clinch, and we'll see.
It's interesting. We've been trying to think, and even though people talk about, with the clinch work and the distance being kind of Artem's advantage, and maybe the combination and the head movements and stuff being Paulie's advantage.
For sure.
I think a lot of people they assume Paulie's going to go in there and win because he comes from the championship pedigree.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a shocker? Like if Artem cleans his clock, is it going to be like holy?
Oh
shit?
yeah, for sure. I think so because when you talk to the mass people don't know much about it. I think everybody's definitely picking Paulie. And you got some people who are, huge MMA people are automatically going to think the MMA guy. But it's pretty interesting. You get a lot of split. There's a lot of split when you talk to other people. So I think it would really shock a lot of people. But like, man, this is a world champ. And say what you will, Artem hasn't been a world champion MMA guy. But that's why I keep trying to tell people it doesn't matter the level of champion or not champion. It's the styles and the fights that are going to make
it. It's a different sport.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you got a totally different sport, and you got different styles, and those styles are going to make the
Doesn't
fight.
that get frustrating, man? Because I know, like, just me hearing, I can't imagine, like, someone who does it, who's done it all. Like, it frustrates me. It's like people keep, like, it's just so ignorant. Like, they say these comments of like, oh, well, he sucked in MMA, this and that. Like, no, man, it's an entirely different sport.
Yeah, exactly.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
So you took away, if you watch most of Artem's fights he lost, how it happened. I'd take down on hold down. So that ain't gonna happen. You know, you're taking the best aspects of what he made him a successful guy to make
You're
him the UFC,
enhancing it by putting him in here.
exactly. So you can throw the other stuff out the window. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, because wrestling might not be as good, or somebody can take him down or choke him. With that has nothing to do with what this is about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just ignorance.
And vice versa with boxing, you know, like, hey, you know what? I don't really have a dog in this fight.
Yeah.
Holly could come in here and clean house.
Yeah.
Good for him,
Yeah.
right? I don't have a dog in this fight. As long as I hope it's an entertaining fight, which
Exactly.
I'm sure it will be.
Exactly.
Right?
No matter what.
But you have a lot of the boxing purist fans that are like, this is a no-brainer. Paul's going to go in there and look at this clean up. This is stupid.
Well, we shall see. You know, I mean,
because they're comparing it to Floyd Conor. And I'm like, no. You understand? Conor went to boxing.
hey, here's the thing. You know how Floyd kind of goes in a bare knuckle fight? Where you can hit him.
I think it's different.
I guarantee it's different. I don't think Floyd makes it very long. I mean, you can clinch.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, we'll run that one back. See how that goes. We'll do it right, you know.
You
do it now.
You think too, if Paulie cleans Artem's clock, if rumor Conor might be there, right? Because it's his boy, best buddy.
Yeah.
And there's that long feud between him and his team.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to go into
Sure.
all that. Everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
But is it possible he calls Conor out?
Oh, I guarantee. No, I don't think it's possible. I think it's 100% guaranteed.
And is that enough for him to beat his best buddy? For him to say, you know what?
I don't know, man.
I want to fuck you up so bad.
I don't know. You know, that is the question right there. That's the big question right there. Because I guarantee if he wins, this
Conor's all about loyalty
Yeah.
and defending his buddies,
100%.
even above, you know, my God, he wrecked a fucking shuttle. He wrecked a bus.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing started over Artem.
Yeah. And
Because
slapping him in
Khabib and his buddy were slapping him around.
Yeah,
and the whole thing started over that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not out. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, personally, you know, I'd love to see that if that really happened. You know what I mean? Because all the fight hype that's happening about this fight, that would be nothing compared to that
It
one.
would be insane.
Geez, that'd probably be one of the biggest things.
I think it would be the biggest. I think, you know what? I would actually think it would be comparable. It's hard to say big because they're so damn big.
Yeah, but I mean,
think it would be comparable.
Here's the thing, because so it actually be something that wasn't just about two of the great fighters. This would be like the animosity.
There's also bad
That's
blood.
what I mean. This would be like.
And it's legit.
This would be exactly.
And you could trace the history.
Yeah, for a long time with legal problems and all
Yeah.
kinds. I mean, it would be pretty epic. And geez, can you imagine the pay-per-view numbers that would go to that? Because everybody would want to watch this. I mean, because it would be huge. But and the beautiful thing about it, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. You know what I mean? I mean, it could happen.
I wonder, you know what, and maybe this is kind of off on a tangent, but you know what, people like tangents.
Yeah, I do. I'm a tangent guy.
You think that is it even possible because of Conor's UFC contract? Is it even possible for him to do this? And if he does, what kind of money is he going to ask for? And is that something that it's even possible with BKFC?
Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of different, aspects of that one, and from what I'm gathering, as the way it's written, I think in his contract it probably would know, because like boxing is a different thing. You get a boxing thing, you got the Ali Act, and they can't stop you from doing the boxing. Now with this, would it be something different? I've heard it would be, because this isn't under the boxing umbrella. It's another combative sport that's not. So that might be an aspect that would be difficult for him to get out.
What if Uncle Dana got a piece of the pie like he did with that?
Yeah, now-
you think that might be a different story?
Possibly, and here's my only problem. Like, okay, so let's say they do this, and let's say they just say, hey, we'll give you every nickel we get out of, not every nickel, but let's say we give you a huge chunk of our pay-per-view. And so it's whatever.
Split the pay-per-view.
Yeah, or something like that.
It'd probably be big enough that it would still be profitable.
Yeah,
even
yeah.
if you split it.
Exactly. So let's say they did something like that. It'd be smart to kind of, from the UFC point of view, I'm thinking, we're creating another thing for us to compete with. We're creating competition if we let this happen. Why would they ever want to let that create competition? You know, because if they do that, that takes bare knuckle from here to here. And it's not going to surpass UFC. It's going to be up here. But all of a sudden you had them down here, and now you're going to put them up here. Why would they do that? I wouldn't. If I'm in charge, not a chance. That's just me. Would you want to add a competition?
No, you know what? That's a good point because I guess if you look at it, well, what about, why would he sign on to do the Mayweather-Conor fight? Why was Dana so on board with that?
He had no choice. Once he got a boxing license, protects. That's a different sport. You can't do it.
Well, that too, but you know what? I think too, maybe Dana isn't as threatened with boxing because let's be honest, like you're talking, how many big fights is there really a year? Not to say they're not good fights. I mean from like a marquee aspect.
You're right.
How many big fights are there a year? Maybe one. Now lately we've been getting lucky.
Yeah.
There's been some really good fights lately, right? But other than that, like, is Dana really threatened? Because like he knows no matter what, the rub that Conor's going to get from Floyd is going to
help them out.
UFC.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But like you said, to your point,
who's this helping out? This is helping out.
This is different. We're getting the rub from them.
Exactly.
How would he benefit?
He's not. I mean, if anything, he's hindered. So I think he's like, not a chance. Especially like, if he didn't have a say-so, if there's nothing he could do, if you could apply for a boxing license and you're good, then it wouldn't happen. But I mean, he could do it anyway. But if that's not the case, I'm thinking he's going to say, not a chance. That's just my thought. But for all I know, maybe him and Con have some stuff worked out. Con's like, hey man, I'm going to do what I want. I'll retire from UFC if I have to. You better get on board or else. I don't know what their relationship is, so hard to tell. I'm not going to speculate because I don't know what you've got.
I mean, with him, I could almost see that happening. Yeah. Maybe he has that kind of pull.
Here's the thing, in my opinion, who he kind of wants to fight again. He's got all the money he wants. He's got his whiskey business going on. It's like, what is he have to do? Like go back and fight Habib again? You want to go fight that one? I mean, doesn't look. I mean, so maybe he's in the driver's seat. He can fight if he wants to. I think he has the leverage to do whatever he wants whenever he wants.
Yeah.
Be 100%.
Yeah.
So if he really wants to, it'll happen.
I think honestly, I think if he decided to go out and fight a broomstick, people would buy the pay-per-view at this point. Just for the hell of it.
I'd pay a little bit for it. I'm not going to pay full price.
I'll pay half price.
Yeah,
Give me the discount.
I try to find one of those illegal. What do they do? So they were talking about some box you could get or something. Yeah. I don't know. I'd buy that.
But yeah, they had no choice. You have because of what he commands, because of his star power. It's outside of the sport.
For sure, exactly. So he can kind of. I mean, if he wanted to, I think he would. That's it. Yeah. That could be interesting. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of ifs in there. Just if he gets started,
If Paulie can even get past our.
That's what we're saying. I mean, if he can be I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities, but that's pretty awesome.
One thing I will say too, and this, I will say this too. Usually, when you see a fight, especially like a big fight like this, maybe one of the guys is real confident in himself. And this time, everything Artem says, I believe it 1,000% that he at least believes it.
Yeah, I know.
Same thing with Paulie. I get the sense that Paulie really believes, dude, I could fucking beat you with one hand tied behind my back.
Agreed, yeah.
And they both believe it.
Yeah, that's what makes a good fight. And two people, hold on, but the beauty of that comes after the first round. And somebody goes back to their corner and they sit down and they go, my worst nightmare is coming true right now. Like, whatever I thought happened is going to happen, and I don't know if I can change it up. That's their worst nightmare. And how do they react to that? Can they get over that? Can they adjust on the fly in there and change everything up? It's tough to do that sometimes. So,
Chris Lytle, are you fighting again?
Possibly. We'll see. Like I said, this had wrist surgery about a month ago.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. Yeah.
So we'll kind of see how everything goes. At this age, I'll be 45 in like a 2 months. So I should have been retired a long time ago. I was, and I came back out to do some bare knuckle, like I said. And I wish this sport would have been around 10 years ago. I'm sure I'd have been doing a lot more of it back then. Because this is made for me. I'm made for it. I like it a lot, but at the same time, I'm like, man, Father Time is undefeated. My body, like I had surgery on my chest last year, I had surgery on my wrist this year, I've had knee surgery. I was like, man, it's tough to keep going, but I enjoy doing it, so I don't know. We'll have to see how I heal up. And to be honest with you, I'm only looking for certain fights now, man. I'm not wanting to fight young up and come and just fight.
Just something
people like
makes sense
myself that are fun for me, because like I said, this is about fun for me now. If I have fun, I'll
how about this? Let's have fun. If you could, who would you, if you could pick anybody, whether it be past, present, maybe it's someone that's not even fighting right now, just for the hell of it, who would you want to fight?
Oh man, that's tough, dude. I like the fights like some guys I fought in the past, that I really enjoyed. They'd be like a Robbie Lawler. Like when I fought Dago.
War.
Yeah, Lord.
Rob is another guy. Oh my God, he'd be perfect for
I've been told people like before I would like to UFC, I would have came back for someone like Cowboy, Matt Brown. Those guys are guys I respect, and there's people I like. I mean, the bad thing is I like all those guys.
You guys are like from that era. You guys are like cut from the same cloth kind of thing, like that era,
Yeah, I mean that's like the guys who truly enjoy being out there and fighting, and they're doing it. 100,000 people watching, and there's 3 people in the gym. They're gonna fight the same. You know what I mean? Those are the type of people I look forward to fighting. People who I know are gonna be right there, and you're not. You might catch them and they knock them out, but probably not. It's gonna be a knockdown, drag out fight because. I had some fights where I won pretty quick, and those are cool, but there's nothing like winning a close-ass fight and just knowing who both have played it out there. Or even if you lose over a fight night, there's those fights you got there and really laid it all out, and you took some and you gave some. Those are my favorite, spiritually or internally or whatever. It makes me feel good about myself. I'm like, hey, I did what I came to do, and it wasn't easy. And I had to overcome some adversity. If I get cut open and I still can able to come back and win, I love those fights.
You know what? And I was talking to these guys. I'm just like, man, I can't, because I don't understand it, because I'm not doing it. I watch it. I was like, it makes somebody want to get punched in the face. And I'm like, everybody kind of has the same thing. It's almost like just testing yourself and wanting to figure out, or wanting to be like the best version of yourself, and just one thing that seems to be across the board too is like, the hardest person. Travis Thompson said it best. He says my toughest opponent is never anybody in the ring. It's the person in the mirror.
Yeah.
And it seems to be across the board with that.
That's what me and Sheena were just talking about. That it's like all this is about you and yourself. It's about doing the right thing, and pushing yourself past where you thought you could. And it's just living that lifestyle, and that's what's hard to give it up. Is because when you have a fight coming up, for those 3 months, this is your goal. This is what you're trying to do. You do everything to try and you eat right, you eat clean, you work out hard, you sleep more, you do what you have to do to prepare yourself for this one day. And then, you can only control what you can control by yourself. You can't control what he's going to do, the referee, the judges. So all you have to do is go out there, worry about what you can do for yourself, and then go out. Then the fight's over before it even starts. It's going to happen, whatever's going to happen. You can't affect it. All you can do is go out there and perform as best you can. And that's what's frustrating when you don't do it. Like, I did all that stuff, and I just performed away with that other guy has a lot to do with it. But when you go out there and you perform well, you can win, lose, or draw. You have a sense of satisfaction. There's nothing like when you win, and you're like, I was able to be successful. Wow, that's a good. But it's a very, as a goal-oriented person, when you win, it's the best, and when you lose, it's the worst. But you can't if you can take that feeling and put it in the pill form, you'd be the richest man out there, because nobody put any of the drugs. They'd be like, I got that feeling of accomplishment, and pride, and all this other stuff. And when you have a fight and you win, you're on this high for I mean, right away you're on this unbelievable high. And it's like, it's funny you should hear yourself after you do the interview, you're always looking like, what did I say? That was stupid. You know, like it's almost like you're watching yourself from out here.
100%.
And then you're like, wow, your adrenaline's going. And then later on, like, it calms down a little bit, but it's still high. And then like the next week it's here, and then it kind of goes down a little bit, and then eventually it's down here, like, I need that feeling again.
Right.
You know? Conversely, when you lose, it, you know, like, oh, and then you got to build yourself back up. So like, you're always looking for that next high.
You think that speaks to again to that, like you said, like you're addicted to anything to do with fighting, right? Firefighting. Like you think it's like having that type of mindset, you kind of have that addictive personality.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I've always been like that, no matter what I do, you know. And,
like everything, like no matter what it is, whether it's you know, if you were, I don't know, if you were a trash man, would it be your goal to be the best damn trash man on the block? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it depends on if I don't know if I just was a trash man, but if I really enjoyed one aspect of that, then I'm with you. Or let's say I enjoy like playing poker. I'm just going to do that all the time. Like I love playing craps. If I go play craps, I'm going to sit the craps thing for 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
You know, or you know,
you throw the dice, or you just.
I do it all.
Yeah.
But I mean, or the problem was that that's a good and a bad thing. For example, when I've learned recently about drinking stuff, but I used to be, if I had, my goal was to drink as much as I could when I was going to drink, you know. And if we had 18 beers, I'm like, I'm going to try and drink all 18 beers in one sitting. You know what I mean? Because I have a goal in that to finish this stuff. So whatever I want to do, like I would go in, or you know, if I'm going to play anything, I want to be the best at it. I'm going to try to do as much as I can to make myself as good as I can. If I'm going to lift weights, I'm going to lift weights every single day because I'm going to try and strong, do whatever, you know. So it's just that like sense of goal-oriented mentality that I have, and that's in everything I do.
I'll tell you what, man, and you're one of the best to do it, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. You're too kind, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully you guys like it a little bit.
I think they love it, man. Guys, you know what? We're just gonna segue because we've been
at it for a while.
We've been doing it
These
for
poor
about
guys back here.
4 hours, 5 hours now, but we've had fun. Thank you, Chris Lytle,
Hey, no problem,
Starr,
brother.
Travis Thompson, Jason Knight, Stitch, Jeff Houston. Man, it's been an absolute blast, and we could probably talk for another few hours, but I think some of us have to get some sleep at some point.
Yeah, I got to talk tomorrow a little bit. So.
See you guys later.
Thanks.
Dude, that was fucking awesome, bro.